All right. Hello, 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 and welcome to this producer model training. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm really excited to be doing this with you today. Let me just make sure everything's closed here because there we go. Just getting my own audio. I had it on play. So again, I'm really excited that you're here. I'm going to do something a little different today because of all the bonuses that I decided to include. What today is really going to be focused on is a fast start guide. We're going to literally teach you everything that you need to know to be able to avoid the number one mistake that people normally come across when launching an online business or doing the producer model, as well as everything you need to know to be able to implement the producer model very, very quickly so that you can go from wherever you are now to getting started and actually making money quickly. So if you want, and I know if you're watching the recording, feel free throughout, if you have questions, to pause, send me an email. If you're here with me live, as I know a good number of you are going to be able to make it, feel free to say hi in the chat box. That's where you can ask any questions and anything as we go through. Now, I will be taking breaks. Hey, Mark, good to see you. So we will be taking breaks. So we're going to dive in. We're going to cover something. I'm going to give you a few things you can work on. We'll take a little break. We'll come back. We'll dive in. And I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to today. Max for me is going to be 3 hours and we're out. But I'm going to try to keep it a little less for you because I want to give you enough that you can act and then take it and run. Now, like I mentioned before, we're going to be doing some live Q&A follow-ups. So again, even if you're here today, my goal is to give you enough where you can go out, start taking action. And then we're going to do those live Q&As where you'll be able to actually jump on. We can talk, we can have a conversation, and we're just going to work through any obstacles you've come across, any challenges you're facing, any ideas you have. And remember, you can actually send me what you're working on, and I'm going to go over it with you. And we're going to make sure that you get success with this. Because again, my entire goal for this program is to be able to get you to get results, to get you to start making money online. And that depends completely on you. That could mean your first couple $1,000s online as a supplemental income, or that could mean ramping up to your own 6-figure business and beyond. Whatever goal you have, I'm going to show you how you can get it quicker than you thought. Because again, a lot of the problems that people face are the same, no matter what niche, no matter what industry. So we're going to talk about that today as well. I also want to mention that at the end of today, if you feel you need, and again, because there's going to be more things for you to work on throughout, I'm going to have downloads for you. You're going to see the Facebook comments below the video. That's where I'm going to put any downloads as we cover them, things like the templates and stuff like that. So you can download them and have them right as we're going along with it. The chat box to the side is where you can just ask questions. You can say hello. You can let me know what you're up to. Things like that. So let me bring up. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with talking about the general number one mistake before we even dive into the producer model itself. And we'll cover a couple of the basics. But what I really want to do with you to begin is give you the overall picture of how you're going to take action, what you can do. And again, this is if you have your own product, and this is for the producer model. I'm going to show you how to overcome the number one mistake that people make, which is why they struggle to make money, why they fail to get momentum, and how you can quickly get started. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to break down the producer model. We're going to break down how to set up the partnership to have it work best for both parties. We're going to talk about where to find great experts, because a lot of the time we're kind of narrowed in on our little window. So we're going to talk about some of the keys to finding experts, finding niches that make money, finding something that you're passionate about, and then how to work with the expert. And here's the most difficult part for people: how to work with the expert to quickly create the product and then market it, along with how you're going to market it, how you're going to promote it, and what you do. How do you take the payments? How do you set that up? How do you send that to each other? All that stuff. So if that sounds good to you, let me know in the comment box. That's what we're covering today. And again, as I go through, I want to keep this very conversational. So if you have questions, you can chime in, you can let me know. If we need to stop, we need to go over something more to clarify something, we're going to do that. So what I want to do first is, again, really talk about the high level, and then we're going to dive into the deep. So, all right, Karmic Media, hi there. It's going to be a place to go to get resources to use. Yes. For now, I'm going to put the resources that I share right here on this page. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to be Barb. Awesome. Hello, Barbara. Yes. I'll call you Barb because you wrote Barb. So I'll put all the resources and everything here on this page for now as we work through it. And then you're going to be having a back-end access, one, to a Facebook group to be able to ask questions. That'll be set up as we go through the live Q&As. And then you will also be getting access to a membership site, which is actually the back end as I'm finishing up recording the videos for everything separately, like the producer model and all the training. You're going to get access to that. And that's why today we're going to be focusing more on that fast start, on the ideas where you can take it and get going, because you're going to be having access to all those things as we go. All of the bonuses, everything I mentioned, you're going to have that all in one place. So hopefully that answers your question. And thanks for being here. So with the producer model, the whole idea of it, whether you have ideas for your own products or not, I highly recommend starting off with the producer model. It's the best way to build momentum, the best way to get started. Even if you have your own list, it's a great way to be able to quickly build a product in the same niche that your list may be interested in, and you get to launch that with that partner, and you get to use their credibility. So even if you're thinking, and everything we're going to teach today, you can use for your own products or you can use for the producer model, but I highly suggest you start it with the producer model, because I'm going to tell you how you can get it off to that fast start and get things really moving. So the general idea is you're going to be able to, later today even, be able to go out, start finding an expert that you want to partner with. You're going to have a clear understanding of how to approach that partner, how to build a relationship with the expert, how to reach out to them, what kind of conversation you're going to have, and then how to form that partnership. Once you form that partnership, you're going to know exactly, and we're going to cover this today, you're going to have the exercises to now take that expert and start building the product. What you're going to go over with them, how you're going to guide them through the process of how they're going to build it, how you're going to deliver it, the training you're going to do, how you're going to promote it. I've got little exercises that will walk you through each step by step. So you connect with the expert. You're going to come up with the overall plan for the product and the marketing. And then I'm going to show you how you can actually put that together into the product, deliver it quickly, make some money, how that whole partnership is going to work. And then once you've delivered it and you have a product, I'm going to show you how you can go from there and either scale it together, or, in some cases this is going to happen, end it where it is, where you've both just made some money and you moved on. Because the reality is, when you're working with people, there might be someone that you love what they're teaching, you really connect with, you like what they're doing, but when you work together, for some reason, something just doesn't click. Whatever it is, it could be a personality thing. It could be just kind of an energetic thing. Sometimes you feel like someone, maybe you find their ethics aren't really in line with yours. And I know for some people that's not as big of a deal, but I mean, I've got this poster, by the way. I've got all the different posters for different businesses inside and out. One of them is for my business line that I used to run, and it was called Ethos Business. And it's all about having ethics and having a purpose and having a drive. So I'll sometimes work with an expert who really knows their stuff. They're great at what they do, but I feel like they're more in it for the money and the business side, and they're not willing to put the work in to create that real change for their audience. And in that case, great. We put something together, we helped some people, we made some good money, and we just shake hands and we leave it there. Some partners you work with, you're going to gel with, you're going to love, you're going to have a relationship with. And that's when you're going to move further with more products. You can solidify the product you made. So we're going to cover all of that. So how's that sound to you? What I'm going to do is share my screen with you, and we're going to talk about the beginning part. The whole purpose for everything that I do. The whole purpose for the producer model, why I'm so excited about it. The whole purpose around me building the launch system, which we're going to cover in detail today, very shortly, actually. The whole purpose of it is to avoid this number one problem and this number one mistake that people make. It's the reason why most people struggle to build an online business. It's the reason why people struggle to get momentum. And it's the reason why, if you've ever tried partnerships in the past, like the producer model, like Mark, I know you have, it's the reason why in a lot of cases, those don't pan out. Either they didn't make the money you wanted them to make, it wasn't worth the time investment that you put into it, or it just didn't turn into what you thought it would. So we're going to cover all of that. And so basically, the number one problem that people run into when trying to build an online business is they put the cart before the horse. And I was the most guilty of this. And this is the problem that I see people make again and again and again. And so what do I mean by they put the cart before the horse? Well, when I first started, and in fact, my first partnership through the producer model. Oh, and by the way, I will also mention before I get into it, I'm going to be covering this. I'm going to give you some things to work on, and we will take a couple little breaks throughout. So don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and blab your ear off for hours. We're going to go through something. We're going to work on it. I'm going to give you a little break. You can go, you can grab a coffee, you can grab lunch, whatever it is. We'll come back. We'll get right back in as we go through. So what do I mean by putting the cart before the horse? Well, when I first started trying to build an online business, why I struggled was because I made things way more complicated than they need to be. And this point right here, what I'm going to show you with the launch system, take notes, because this is going to transform the way you build every single product from now on. Every partnership you make, every one of your personal products, this is how you can launch it. So we're going to cover that. Because here's what I did. This is actually a screen capture of the first partnership that I did. I made a huge course. There were over 100 pages in this course. And as you can kind of see here in the picture, I had PDF downloads, we had videos, we had training pages, we had exercises, things for people to work on. This thing took almost a year to build. Now, it wasn't full time working on building it, but it took about a year and good hours into it to build this entire course out. I mean, just the hours alone in the videos, and the videos were professionally shot. We had all of the equipment. We had a special location. We had fancy cameras and lighting. And I mean, this thing was awesome. But what happened was, by the time we finally launched it, yes, we had some decent results. We made some sales, but it kind of fell flat. The time that we put into making this and the effort that we put into making it, when we finally launched it, we found out it wasn't exactly what the market wanted. And even though, yes, we sold thousands of them, but the time that we put into it wasn't worth it at all. And this is what I would do. And this is what most people do. They spend that time, they build these fancy products ahead of time, or they shoot fancy videos. And this is actually a clip from a video series that I put together again when I was starting out. I had green screen. I still have green screen and the camera equipment and lighting, but I'll tell you, I rarely ever use it now because I spent months building this video series that was all about the professional me and the kind of casual me having a battle. And I thought it was great. And I scripted the video series. This is actually screen capture from a movie poster that I put together for it. And I put months and months of effort into this, leading into a training product that I built. And the same thing happened. I kind of launched it to crickets. I had some good feedback. People thought the videos looked cool. But again, it didn't hit the nail on the head. It didn't hit the market's pain point. It was what I thought they wanted. And in a lot of cases, it was what the market needed, but it didn't connect. My message didn't connect with the market. And the same thing, we spend time doing these crazy fancy funnels and email systems, and people will spend months working on this stuff. And this is a lot of what's being taught right now. People are talking about funnels. People are talking about follow-ups and automatic retargeting and things like that. Facebook ads, paying a bunch of money to reach your target. And here's the truth of it. I almost hit stop broadcast instead of coming back to you. Those things are great. It's good to have the skills to put together fancy websites. It's great to shoot fancy videos, build out funnels. I'm not saying that email follow-up sequences aren't valuable. Facebook ads, I'm not saying that they're not something to do down the road. But here's the problem. Most of the people out there who are trying to teach how to build an online business are telling you to do these things. They're telling you to build a membership site. They're telling you to blog or podcast. They're telling you to build an online course. They're telling you to build funnels with follow-up systems and retargeting. Right now, Facebook ads, everyone's telling you to do Facebook ads. That's where the money is. And the problem is these things are all putting the cart before the horse. It's all things that you can do down the road. But if you do it first, there's a couple problems that come up. And I'll give you the solution in a second. That's the launch system. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do things from now on. And let me know if, ouch, Mark Ryan, I have empathy for you, Roger. And I know, Mark, you sent me an email right before earlier today telling me about some of your past experiences. And a lot of these things I know you can relate with in one form or another. And not even, and again, some of the problems might be when you take that time to build an entire course, it takes months. It takes months and months to script, shoot the video, build the pages and everything. And Mark, I know in that podcast I listened to of yours, your wife was mentioning that she builds out your website. Does she still do that? Does she still build your websites and everything in the back end? And if so, I'd be interested to know, does she code it or do you use something like an optimized press or a ClickFunnels? Let me know. And so what happens is if you do these things first, numerous things can go wrong. And one of them usually do it. It only takes one to make it all a wasted effort. Number one problem that happens is your messaging doesn't match the markets. A lot of times as experts, we may think we know what the market needs. And a lot of times we do. We know what they need. But that doesn't mean what we build is going to strike an emotional chord with the audience. And so that's what happens. We take the time, we build something up, we launch it, nothing, falls flat. And when I say nothing, yes, of course, you might make a few sales, but because of the time and money you invested, it becomes not worth it. And same thing goes. Maybe you form a partnership with someone and you're going to build a membership site and you spend months putting it together, building the back end, doing it all. And then all of a sudden you go to launch it and maybe the partnership falls through, right? Maybe the other partner doesn't follow through on their end of the bargain. And again, I'm gonna help you figure out how to find those right partners and structure in a way where you shouldn't have that happen. But even myself, I've had partnerships in the past that kind of fell apart. I had one partner that we were working with. We had a great product. We even made some sales, but they ended up getting hung up and refused to email their list more than like once a month. And that was just their own belief. They had this belief that if they emailed their list more than that, they would scare them away. So they had this list of 10,000 emails, but they didn't want to email it more than once a month. So that happens. And if you've now taken time to shoot videos, build websites, do all those things, and then you find out something like that happens, oh, you're out a ton of effort, a ton of time. I had that happen to me once again, and it ended up putting me back 3 months of work where I wasn't working on anything else, and all of a sudden I was left with no momentum. So I'm going to show you how to prevent that. So, all right, Mark. Yes, that's why I'm here now. She did all that. She used to build them all. Oh, very cool. Cargo passenger sites, late 90s. We use Elegant Themes now as I can build sites using it. Yes, Elegant Themes is a great one. I always used Optimized Press when I was partnering up with a WordPress sites. But here's the thing. We'll cover more tech later. And if you're having trouble with tech, let me know in the comments or send me an email and we can cover it in more depth as we go through. But the technology is the easy part. And it's the easy part when you use the launch system that I'm about to show you. So you'll see that. She's now building a sales organization for a major internet security site. Oh, that sounds awesome. You're on your own doing all this work. Well, don't worry, Mark. What we're going to cover right now is going to show you how easily on your own you can do everything you need to do. I tend to get excited and speak loudly and yell a lot, so I lose my voice. So I'm going to be just taking lots of little sips of water throughout. Hopefully that doesn't drive you crazy, but it's so I don't lose my voice. So what is the solution? If I'm telling you right now that you're not going to go and shoot videos to promote your course, you're not going to build a course or membership site or anything like that in the back end. You're not going to build a fancy funnel. You're not going to use Facebook ads. You're not going to do any of that stuff because all of that stuff is putting the cart before the horse. So that's great. What do you do? Well, that's the launch system. What's the solution? Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. This has quickly become one of my absolute favorite quotes. I have it as backgrounds on different projects I do and have it around me to remind me every step of the way, because every time I'm on Facebook or I'm reading my emails from someone training how to launch an online business, there's a new shiny object. There's a new shiny toy. There's a new system. There's a new way to make money. Right now, if you go online, there's two main things people are really pushing right now, and that's building your own agency. This is how to make money online. Build your own agency for companies. But again, now you need to go become an ads expert. You need to be able to build real fancy funnels. You need to be able to follow up with leads. It's tons of work. Or you hear people talking about high value sales, things like that. And so it's easy to see each one of these opportunities and go, hey, that's an opportunity for me to make money. I'm going to go do it. I'm going to build a membership site, continuity income. Wow, that's amazing. And we get distracted by all these things. What I'm going to teach you today is how to boil it down to its basics. I am going to show you the simplest way to launch a product. This is how you're going to launch your own, and this is how you're going to launch the products with the experts you partner with. And it's the simplest, absolute simplest you can make it without being so simple that it doesn't work. So there's going to be a little bit of work and effort still on your part, but honestly, this is by far the simplest way to do this. It's how I launch everything now, and you're going to recognize a lot of it as we go through. But this is how I want you to launch all of your products from now on. And that's live. Okay, just like I'm coming to you live right now, this is how you're going to be able to deliver and launch all your programs and products. And there's a few reasons for this. Let me stop sharing again. The number one main reason why I want you to do live, and I'll put a little side note to this. Don't panic, because you might be thinking, well, I could never do that. I couldn't do webinars, or I don't want to do live. And I know a number of you who are on here are comfortable presenting, and that's great. And I know some of you aren't, but that's okay. Because remember, in the producer model, the expert that you partner with is the one putting their face forward, the one that's putting themselves out there, and the one that's going to be doing the main training. You're going to be behind the scenes for a lot of it. So even if you aren't the kind of person who, you think about going on live video and you kind of panic, don't worry. There are ways around that. Again, either through the expert, or you could just use slides, and you don't have to do like I do. I like you being able to see me, because here's one of the main benefits of live. And there are two absolute main benefits to why I tell everyone to do this and why I launch all of my things this way. Number one, people get to connect. People get to get a sense for you. They get a sense of feeling you, feeling your energy and what you're about. So right now, today especially, in your email inbox right now, you probably have 10 or 20 people promising a solution to you of how to make money online in your email box right now. And every one of those solutions is something different. By connecting to people live, you get to build that connection, build that relationship, and very quickly have people decide if you and your style is for them or not. And that's okay. There are people that watch my style and they don't resonate or don't connect with it. And that's fine, because then there are people that watch my style and see how I genuinely want to help, and I want to give everything I possibly can to help you succeed. And there are people that connect with that. And that's good. If you're not turning anyone off, you're not turning anyone on either. And video is the fastest way to do that. But here's the other reason that I love live. The number one reason, really, is you get to test everything you do as you do it. And so here's what I mean. Your market has a problem. What you're going to do is solve it on a webinar. Solve it live. So this is what you're going to do if you're making your own product. And again, this is what you're going to do when you partner with someone. When you reach out to your expert and you partner with them, let's say they have a product teaching people how to lose weight. What you're going to do is you're going to put together what training you want to give people. And you're going to begin by reaching out to their market, and you're going to start with a webinar training live. Because the power of that is this. This happened to me before in the past. I'd put together a training that I was convinced people would love. I was convinced that I knew people needed it. It was all about building momentum in your life and in your business, and the 3 factors that determine it. And it's powerful stuff. But I led with this. I thought people were going to love it. And what happened was I put together the webinar, launched it. No one showed up. No one cared. Even though it's what people needed to learn, it's not what they wanted. So that messaging didn't hit. Now, in the past, if I had gone and built a fancy page, shot the videos, and built the course, and then decided to launch it, and then I got crickets, I probably would have cried a little. But What happened, because it was live, because I decided to do it through a live webinar, was it didn't matter. I still have the content I wanted to create, but now I know, okay, so my message didn't connect. No one showed up to my webinar. I was out a few minutes to put together a webinar registration page. So I changed the headline and I changed the general idea behind that webinar and I put it out there again. And now this time it connected. People decided to show up. So now I knew I was able to test. And this is the part that everybody misses when they want to launch a program or a product. They go do all the other stuff first. They put the cart before the horse. The first thing to do is make sure your message connects with the audience, connects with the market. This is how, by the way, I did this with one of my partners. We set up, we put together a webinar, we put it out. The feedback that didn't really connect, a lot of people weren't interested. So what we did is we put together a live broadcast where we basically just taught the number one tip that we knew people wanted from response on the blog. And we just listened to what people said. And that's on that webinar, that ideas, what we got from the market, the feedback that we got has allowed us to make that product where we went from an idea to a product 30 days later, did 5 figures in sales, and then continued to make money off that product because we were able to test. So that's the key. You're going to start with live. And I have a picture of how this all looks. Actually, here. So this is the launch system in a nutshell. And this is how you're going to launch every product you do when you partner with someone for the producer model and even for yourself. You're going to see here, you just have a webinar registration form that leads to the thank you page that gives people the information for the webinar that you're doing. And again, we'll cover more of this in detail if you want. And then you have the live page where you deliver your webinar. And so this is the same process that you went through with me for this training. I decided I'm putting together a course. Instead of making the same mistakes that I used to always make in the past, I'm doing it differently. I'm getting feedback. I'm testing my message. So I put together a webinar and the feedback went really well. People enjoyed it. People signed up. So I knew that I had that messaging right. So you signed up for the webinar, you came, and I delivered the webinar. On that webinar, and this is again something you could be delivering or your expert delivers with you, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. At the end is where you pitch the training that you're going to be delivering with your expert. And you could do that just through a simple PayPal link for free. This is how I did it many years. And you just drop the link in the comments. You can, if you're able to and have the skill to do it, if you want, put together a sales page for the program. But honestly, I'm a huge fan of keeping things simple. You even saw for the payment page for this program, it was an order form with the slide of what you're going to get, because you want to keep things simple. Because if you did that first training and you deliver that first webinar, people show up, but they don't buy. Well, now you know either your offer is off. Maybe there's something a little off with your pricing. Maybe there's something off with your message. Maybe there's something off with the way you present your content. And in some cases, maybe the market isn't interested in that content yet. So again, instead of having to have built all of that only to find out that people aren't interested in it, if people show up to the webinar and don't buy, you're out nothing. You delivered a training. You got valuable feedback. Pay attention to what people say. Is everyone saying, oh, sorry, sounds great, can't afford it? Then you know there's something in your offer missing. Do people say, oh, it's just, I don't have the time to do that and it's overwhelming, I need to go work on this? Then you know that you need to change the way you position it. But remember, you're not out all of that time. You didn't have to create it first. So now you go back through the process. And this is what I do with my experts. Sometimes you nail it the first time. when you do this live process. Sometimes you don't, you need to shift as you go, but that's the beauty of it. So now I'm going to do the webinar again. I'm going to change my offer based on the feedback I got the first time. And now people come, they sign up, they come to the page, I deliver the training, make the offer, people buy. Great. Now I know I've got my offer, I've got my messaging up front, everything works on the front end. Before I've ever built the course, I now know exactly I've got it selling and people are buying, which is some money in your pocket. So now when you go to finish putting together the training, you've already made some money. And I think this is a huge thing mentally for people. A lot of people are used to spending money and spending time when trying to build an online business. And very rarely do you get the results from those things that you feel you should. And so what happens is you just keep down this downward spiral where you start losing hope and losing hope and losing hope as you go, because you're not getting the results you know you should. So when you can actually get paid, have money in your bank before you even start putting together and working on your course and finalizing it, it feels a lot different. You're a lot more motivated. You're a lot more excited to do that work. It's very, very powerful feeling. So now the same thing. People have come, they went to your training, you delivered it with your expert and sold the in-depth training you're doing after. And that's the difference. You're doing it live. So you do your webinar where you're just teaching something up front, just like you came through with me, that first webinar. You teach something awesome, you solve a problem, and then you offer a way for people to go deeper. When people buy, now you know, all right, you've got to deliver. So the same thing, that outline that you've made with your expert or for yourself, for your product, you deliver it live, just like I'm doing with you now. And again, there are a few reasons to do this. One, the most important one is you get feedback. You get to see where if you explain something and all of a sudden people go in the chat or people send you emails and go, hey, wait a second, I didn't quite understand how you explain that. Can you go into more detail? Now I know as I'm recording the videos for my course, I need to add something that goes into a little detail or answers this question. And you get to do things like live Q&As. I'm going to do some live Q&A at the end of today. We can even do some live Q&A throughout if you would like. And then I'm going to do these specific live Q&A starting next week, where you can even come on video with me or just audio, whatever you like. And we get to talk. You get to ask questions. You get to share your screen if you want, show you what you're working on, and we're just going to work through it. That feedback that you get with people is invaluable. That's what's going to make sure the final product you put together is the solution that people need. It covers what they need. It covers what they want. If you shoot it all ahead of time and then you find out something's missing, it's a lot harder to now go back and change something. You've already done all the work. It's set up. There's always a part of you that just wants to leave it and forget it. That's the power of doing this live. So again, you get to work, you set together with your expert, and we're going to go into more detail of the process of all this in a bit, so don't worry. But basically, you partner with your expert and you decide, here's the training that we're going to deliver to your audience. Maybe it's just a more in-depth version of their book. Maybe it's a follow-up to a book they've done. Maybe it's a in-depth things they've learned through a blog they have, whatever it is. You're going to put together the main training, and then you're going to come up with the webinar that you're going to use to promote it. And again, I've got activities and worksheets for you to go through to do all of these things. Once you've done that, you deliver your training, you deliver your webinar, people show up, they buy, then you register them for the course training, which again is just another webinar like we're doing right now, but it's an in-depth training. And the same process, people sign up, they get the thank you page with the information. They get the live page when you go live. And the beautiful part about this, I hope you're seeing here in this image, is that all I did was I built the registration page, the thank you page, and the live page once. And then I just duplicated those pages and changed it to be for the course. And that's the beauty of this. You don't need to be a crazy tech whiz. You don't need to do anything where you need to build out an entire membership course. You don't need to build fancy follow-up systems. Those 3 pages are all you need. And those 3 pages will carry you and could carry you beyond into a 6-figure business. In fact, I have a friend who took this launch system to launch his course. And he's a funny guy. You may see him. His name's Dan Henry, and he's a controversial character, that's for sure. But he does a course teaching people how to run an agency. And when he first started, he didn't know how to get people to buy from him. He didn't know how to get people interested in what he had without doing all the work. And so what I told him, I just showed him the launch system. And I said, listen, you want to see if people are interested in your Facebook ads training? Do it live. Just go out, do a webinar teaching people the number one thing they need to know about ads, and then deliver it live. Get the feedback. And then the second main important reason to do it is you get testimonials and case studies. That's, again, my whole goal with you here today. I'm going to make sure that you can take this, and now you can see with this process of doing it live, keeping it simple, this is how you can take an idea and turn it into a product this month. Well, wait, it's the 24th today. Maybe this month, but into next month. It doesn't need to take long. And then when you do it live, you get those testimonials. Then what you can do is if you get great feedback, people love it, you get great case studies, people are getting results, you've gotten the feedback, you know what questions you need to explain more, you know what you need to go into depth more, and you can do all this with your expert. Once you have it running, and you can even choose to do it live a couple times. In the past, I like to do it with an expert twice, just because the second time's always better. You already have those questions built up. But so you deliver it live, maybe a couple times, people get results, you've made money. Now you can take a step back. You've got a message that works, you've got a webinar that converts, and you've got a course that delivers and gets people results. And you've made good money doing it. Now you can take a step back. You're getting along with the expert. You're enjoying working with them. Now you can turn it into a course. And here's the difference. I, again, enjoy doing it myself. Mark, I know you use Elegant Themes. I know, who is it? Someone else on here uses OptimizePress. I know some of you use ClickFunnels, which is what I use just because it's the easiest, but it's a little more expensive. So maybe if you're just beginning, don't start with ClickFunnels. But once you have this going, the $100 a month for ClickFunnels for all the hosting and everything you use. Divi Theme, yep, Divi Themes is. I used it once. I actually found it kind of complicated to use. I don't know how you found it, Mark, but I ended up going over to OptimizePress because it was simpler, but it is more basic. You can't make as pretty of a site, but all those things don't matter. And I hope you're starting to see why it doesn't matter, because now that you've made money from what you're doing, you can even hire someone to build the site for you if you want. You can afford to buy something like ClickFunnels so you can import someone's course in the click of a button. You can take a weekend to sit and figure it out to build it because you got paid for that time. Does that make sense? So all of a sudden, the tech isn't as important. Now, all you need is the ability to build a simple landing page, capture an email and landing page. Again, you can use Divi or OptimizePress with WordPress, Instapage, ClickFunnels. There are tons of web builders out there. There's one called CourseCats. You can build it out on different sites as well, but we'll actually get more into that in future follow-ups, because again, the tech doesn't matter as much. So all you need to do, be able to build simple pages, do a live broadcast like I'm doing right now, and all you do is use YouTube Live. If you already have a YouTube channel set up, if not, you can set one up, but you just go into Creator Studio, and I can show you how to do it. Actually, I have a video that shows you how to do it, so I'll share that after, because you're not going to be doing it right now. But basically, it's super easy. You just go to YouTube Live, say you want to do live event, schedule it for whatever time you want to do it, and it's ready to go. You can start it when you open up your broadcast. You see yourself on video, so you can see what you're going to look like. You can share your screen. That's what I do. You just click share, and it's very simple to use. And again, I've got a video that walks you through all this. And then when you're ready to go live, you hit start broadcast. Now, in this video screen with me right now, I can have up to 10 people. So what I do whenever I'm producing an expert, I launch this Hangout, this YouTube Live, the way I do it right now. There's a link at the top. All I do is copy this link, send it to my expert. When they click it, it automatically pulls them into the video call with me. Then I can control whose screen you see. So what I'll do a lot of the times with some experts, I am a little more vocal, and they see my face because I'm trying to get credibility as well. But some experts are in a space that I don't have anything to do with. So I just put the screen on them. I sit back in the background and I disappear. That's it. And that's what keeps it simple to do. And then you just hit start broadcast, you're live. So that's free. YouTube Live, you can use it, and it's free. On top of that, the only other thing you need, now you have the web pages. When you have your broadcast live, you can click links, and you can actually embed this in any website you want. In any website. And in fact, I've done this with someone. I was doing a test. Yes, Google Hangouts. So when you use YouTube, I call it YouTube Live because it's through YouTube Live. You go to YouTube Live, you go to the Creator Studio. When you click your little image, you'll see that as an option. And over at the left, it says Live Events. You click Events, Create New, and it'll ask, how do you want to do it? Your own way, which is if you have a system and fancy software like Wirecast or OBS to do it, you don't need that stuff. Or it'll say quick with Google Hangout. You just click quick, it'll open up. You don't have to worry about a thing. Really, really easy to use. So now you've got live, and it'll give you the embed code. You can actually embed a live broadcast. I could take this link right now, and I've got it embedded on this page that you're looking at now. I could also take this. I could embed it on multiple pages. I can embed it on Facebook if I want, and it'll be going live to Facebook. And in fact, it's a fun thing to do sometimes if you're doing a promotion where you're doing the promotion and you have a lot of separate affiliates out in the world. They can all build their own individual pages with their own affiliate link for your product. You can deliver the training, make the sales pitch, and then their audience gets to click their own affiliate, whoever invited them to it. So real cool things you can do with YouTube Live, easy to use, reliable. Everything you do, you can broadcast up to 8 hours, and it all gets automatically recorded and put into your YouTube channel. I have this as unlisted, so people can't, it doesn't broadcast out, people can't find it. But once it's done, you've got the video file. You can download it, you can edit it, you can use it as a replay. Awesome, awesome tool. So with those two tools, the third and only other thing you need, other than like even a simple PayPal button or whatever you can use to make the sale, is a way to capture emails. Now, I will say this. You can learn this in an afternoon. You can go to MailChimp. It's free. You can set up an account, and you will be able to capture and send emails in a matter of hours. You'll have it set up and ready to go. It's not too complicated. Now, what some people do when they're just starting, and I don't recommend this, but we're going to dive more into this as we really get into the producer model and the expert portion of things. But right now, I just want you to have the overall idea of what you're going to do with the experts. and then we'll work on the process of how to build it out. But what you're going to do, and what some people do when they're starting, is the expert usually already has a way to process sales. Maybe it's for their coaching clients, maybe they're selling a book, whatever it is. They've usually also already got a way to capture emails. That's how they've built up a list. Maybe they've got it on their blog, sign up for my newsletter, whatever it is. So you can do all of this through the expert's tools. Now, one of the things, if I do this with an expert, and I don't do this ever anymore, but sometimes if I'm doing that, so they have to do the payment system, they have to do the emails, that's when I'll do a smaller split. I'll take 30% of the sales of the product because they're doing a lot more of the work, and I'll facilitate putting it together. I'll facilitate the live broadcast, putting together the product. I'll do the tech stuff on that side. They capture the emails and they do the payments. The reason I don't like doing this, and I know some of you have run into something like this in the past, is I like to have full control of everything. I like to control the emails that go out. I like to have control of everyone who signed up and purchased. I like having those emails. I like controlling the payments so that when people buy, it comes into my account. And there are ways you can have it automatically split between you and your expert. But to keep things basic, let's say you just set up a PayPal button, which is what I do. I did when I first started, and a lot of people still do because it's simple. You can actually have it where I like it where I have the money in. I control it. And then what I do is I print a report at the end of every month that I can send to the expert. It shows the earnings. It shows the people that bought. And then I just email transfer them straight from the bank account and transfer them the money that's their half. That way I'm in control. So if something happens and the expert decides to flake, because even though I have contracts that I do, I'm not going to, in most cases, I don't enforce it. This is the honest truth. If I'm working with an expert that decides they don't want to do it for any reason anymore, I'm not going to hold them to it. It's the same with those of you who are here. I know I mentioned this to one of you already. I say I have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you could take this training. You can do the Q&A follow-ups. You can see the extra video bonuses I'm going to send you. You can do it all. And if you still honestly don't think it was worth the $497 to sign up, I'll give you your money back. That being said, if I've done the work with an expert and we've built the course and we've sold it, and then they decide to flake out, that money I earned. So I want to make sure that I at least get my fair half and that I can then follow up with the emails of the people who signed up. So those are the three things. You need something to build simple web pages. I've got tons of suggestions and I can show you how to build the simple pages. It's again, really, really simple and basic. You don't need to get complicated. A way to capture emails like MailChimp, and the forms, a way to take the payment. And that's it. Any product you go to do from now on, you're going to do exactly the process you went through here today, just like this. You're going to go take the training, put together a live webinar, what you're going to produce. Then you're going to sell another live webinar on that. That's going to be your course. Once you have that all working where you're making money, you record it, and now you can turn it into your product. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me come here. Do you get any resistance? I would like to know how you get them to do this. Yes. So let's talk about that. Now, why don't you let me know? I want to take just a 10, 15-minute break really soon. But I do want to cover just sort of the generals of how I do this, how I reach out to the expert, where I find them, and how I make this deal. So you can kind of think about that. And then when we come back, we're going to go through the actual details of reaching out to an expert, building the partnership, connecting, building a product. Like, we're basically going to pretend we're doing it, and I'm going to walk you through the whole step so you'll have the confidence to do that. So let me know if you're good to go a little longer, if you want to take a break already. And while I'm waiting for that, I'll go a little longer. So the number one thing to really get clear with is from the start, finding the right kind of expert. This is once people are interested in doing the producer model, once they're interested in reaching out and partnering with people and they get everything else, the number one mistake people make is they approach the wrong experts. And there are two main wrong experts you can approach. And again, it's a personal thing. So you can partner up with anyone you want. If you have a friend who really has some really cool stuff that they like to teach, but they haven't really started their business yet, and you want to partner with them and try and build it from scratch and try to launch it from scratch, you could do that. But that type of person is a lot more work. So you want an expert that's already established. You want an expert that knows their market. They're already giving training. They're already selling something. Maybe it's a book. Maybe they're doing coaching, consulting, something where they've proved they know the market. That's how you know that you're going to be able to partner with someone that will be able to give a good training, and you'll be able to have people to promote to. You can make money. That's a good person to approach. So the one type of expert that most people approach when they're first starting are people that they know and have a relationship with. And there's two reasons why that can go wrong. One, like I mentioned, they aren't established. They might have great knowledge, but they don't understand how to get their market to act on that knowledge or buy that knowledge. That's going to be a lot of work. The number two type of expert that people approach, and again, it's not a bad thing, but I wouldn't do it because you're going to run into problems with all the things that I just mentioned, is someone that already is doing an online business. Someone that is very comfortable building these things, very comfortable doing live trainings. They've already got some products. In a lot of cases, they're going to be a little more difficult to work with because they already have those things set up. In some cases, they're going to want to be in control of it. They're going to want to basically just have you helping them with the deliverability, helping them put together a course, because they're in the same boat as everyone else. They want to build a course. They want to build something that they can sell to one to many, but they're overwhelmed with it. And this is a lot of people. They're overwhelmed, so they don't get around to it. So then you come in and you get to offer that to them, but a lot of times they want to keep control. So the type of expert you want to find, and let me bring up here. Here's an example. All right, let me share my screen with you. Let me show you someone who would be perfect. These are the people you're going to get no resistance on. And again, down the road, it's a lot easier once you're established. Once you've done it with a few people, it's a lot easier to set the terms of the relationship because you can come in and say, listen, I went with this expert. We produced them. Here's what we built. Here's our results. I've gone with this expert. Here's what we built. Here's what the results are. So I want to do this with you. And here's how it works. It's really easy to set those terms. But when you're just starting with the producer model, or it's been a while since you've done it, or you haven't gotten the results you want, these are the kind of experts you want to find because you can make good money, quick money, and they usually will be open to doing things exactly how you set. So I've got a website here. This is one that I love. I love this girl's recipes. She's called The Detoxinista. Now, she's big on social media. She's got a popular blog, and she's got really cool recipe books. I believe she even has a couple recipe books. And in fact, Sarah just walked by. How many recipe books does she have?
She has 2. You're supposed to take a break soon.
I know, but I'm excited. So Sarah's my partner who you saw in the picture in the webinar. And So I come to her website. I know she has a recipe book. I know it sells well. So when I'm kind of coming to see if she has any online products, I see here that motherhood. So she's got a lot of information. She's got blogs, she's got info, she's got articles, she has cookbooks. But the only way it looks like she really makes money online, I believe her name is Megan actually, is through selling. So these are probably Amazon affiliate links, where if any of you have ever done that, you know, you make about $1 or 50 cents every time someone buys something through it. Another thing I look for is here on her site, you see this pop-up ad here for Honda. Now, I've come to her site before, again, because I love her recipes, and I saw a pop-up for McDonald's. So when you're a health recipe person, and this is what a lot of people do, the way they try to monetize their site are through ads. So they've got pop-ups and you can't control that. Google does. So right now I've got an ad here for Honda, which is a, you know, pop-up. It's in my face. It's annoying. I scroll down. I see ads for Via Rail. Here's an ad for Jeep. Another ad for Via Rail. So there's these ads everywhere. Your website is waiting. Here's an ad for Squarespace. So trying to make money online because she has a following, she has a list, she has people that want to buy from her, that want to support her, but she doesn't know how to make money with it. And Mark, you asked the perfect question. Are there a lot of these experts? There is an almost unlimited number of these experts. I stumbled across one the other day. Actually, I went to Amazon.com, and let me see if I can find it to you, because this is important. And this is what I want you to do in our first break. This is going to be your homework. So why don't I do this? Let me share again. Which tab? This one. Share. All right. We're going to go to Amazon.com. Even though I'm Canadian, it always wants me to go to Amazon.ca. There are a lot more. I shared the wrong one with you. Share Amazon. There we go. All right. So I think I searched for keto diet. And this is what you do. This is how you first start the search. And we're going to get deeper later on today into all the different places you can look. But here's the easiest one to start. You go to Amazon, you search whatever niche you're interested in. It could be anything. And I'm search average customer review. And so right here at the top, 537 reviews, almost 98% of them 5-star. That is awesome. So this girl, Carolyn Ketchum. So you can click her name here. And a lot of times Amazon will give you some of their information. In this case, I don't see much. Sometimes it'll link to their website or their blog, whatever it is, but they don't even have a site for her. So she hasn't set all this up. So I'm just going to copy. Let's go to Google and paste. Here it is. Yep, this is the one. So she was the top one for the keto diet. So let's say I'm passionate, pop-ups with, there's the X. So let's look at her site. And wow, now that I'm on it, this looks extremely like the Detoxinistas blog. So that's funny. But here we go. So I see right here already, I've got a Weight Watchers pop-up. And now if she's trying to teach me through the keto diet how me and my family can be healthy, Weight Watchers really is a bit of a competitor. Why would she send me to Weight Watchers? What was her name? Catherine. So why would Catherine want to send me to Weight Watchers, where I sign and pay Weight Watchers monthly hundreds of dollars, when I can potentially sign up with Kathy or Catherine to do it? Oh, Carolyn. All right. We'll get there eventually. So Carolyn has some cookbooks that she sells and Work With Me. And the Work With Me looks like coaching. And so look here. Here's a perfect one. So let's say you're interested in keto. She gets over 1 million monthly page views, and almost 500,000 of those are unique visitors every month. So she's giving Weight Watchers almost 500,000 unique visitors every month. And does she have other ads along here? And here's another one, Benjamin Moore for paint and popular products. So she's doing the Amazon affiliate thing as well. And I see this all the time, and especially in health, but it happens in everything. I see people with business blogs that do this and books because people don't know how to monetize their online traffic. Look at this, Facebook, over 100,000 followers, Pinterest, a great following, and same thing. So she has her books that she sells. She has thousands of people who have already purchased from her. She's got thousands of people that follow her on social media and almost 500,000 unique visits to her site every month, but she doesn't have a way to monetize it. So now imagine the power of someone like Caroline here, Caroline, I don't know her, one of those. And so now I get to go and approach Caroline and say, okay, this person has a ton of traffic. And so when I approach her, I would say this. Now, again, I've got ways you could do this, but here's the general gist of the message. I'm approaching her saying, you've got thousands of people following you. You got thousands of people who bought your book and would love to know more from you. And I can see by your site that you're trying to monetize your visitors and your traffic through Amazon affiliates, which I know I've got that set up on some of my other businesses. And I know that doesn't make tons of money. You know, you make $1 or $2 per sale, and through Google ads, which are cents per click. And yes, you get thousands of them. It adds up to dollars. But I know, imagine I can work with you and we can have all of those ads be something to your very own product. Because what I want to do is take you and build you an online course, something we can deliver so that you can help all these thousands of people who would love to have more from you, who would love to go deeper with you, maybe deeper with your book, or learn the tips of how you implement this with your family. Whatever it is, the expert will always have something else they're doing. So you just go through their website, you can find it, go on their social media, you'll see their messaging. And so I'm basically just saying, I'm going to make it so all those ads on your page could be your own product that people can buy from you. How does that sound? Would you be interested in learning more about that? And I'm not going to charge you anything up front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to handle all of the tech. All you're going to need to do is I'll help you figure out exactly how you're going to deliver the training, how to set it up, but you're the expert. You know your audience. You know what they want. All you have to do is do exactly what you love to do. You just have to show up at the right time. I'm going to have it all set for you. You just deliver the training. I'm going to set it up so people can buy it, all of that, and we'll split the profits on sales. It's that easy. All you need to do is show up, do what you love doing anyway, and all those thousands of people who have already bought from you and are waiting to get more from you, and all those 500,000 unique visitors to your site every month, they're going to see this training and they're going to want to buy it. And I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to set it all up for you. Are you interested in finding out more about that? Imagine you approach 10 people that way. Imagine how many do you think you'd have to ask that in the right way? And again, I'll show you the right way. I wouldn't approach Caroline out of the blue and give her the speech I just gave you. There are a couple things you do ahead of time, which we're going to cover a little later, but that's the general idea. So what you could do, and you saw how fast we find these things, you could just spend 10 minutes on Amazon going through your niche, organizing by reviews, because if she has over 500 5-star reviews from people who bought her book, there are thousands of people who bought it and didn't take the time to leave a review. And that's all I do. Those are the signs that I look for. I go to someone's site. Once I found an expert I think that I might want to work with, I just go to their site and I see what they're doing. Sometimes they don't even have a site. Sometimes it's like they just sell a book through Amazon and their main page, everything they do is through social media. I know they're gonna have no clue how to do what I do, and that's an easy person to work with. But the best ones to find are these people who have an online presence. They have a blog, podcast, and we're going to go over all this stuff as we go. But for now, I want you to start with Amazon, because it's the quickest, easiest way to find people who have customers, who are experts, but in most cases don't have a business outside of it. So you're going to go to their site and you just want to see, how are they making money online? Because I'll tell you this, very rarely, unless it's a celebrity or someone like that, do people make money with a book. I don't know if you've ever written a book before or published a book. There's not a lot of money in it. A book is a great tool on the front end to get credibility and get customers to sell something like a course on the back end. But most people out there still believe that writing a book and being a bestseller is the way they're going to do it. And that's what they do. So there are tons of best-selling authors out there who are experts, who have thousands of people who bought from them, but they don't know how to build a business from it. So when you go to their website and you see all they're selling is a book and maybe some one-on-one coaching, or maybe they have hire me to do a talk at your business, or maybe they have buy my $10 audio CD, you know that they haven't figured out how to take their knowledge and turn it into a business yet. In fact, I'm good friends with Peggy McCall, who's actually here in Ottawa, but she's an international bestseller. And she works with people like Bob Proctor. She works a lot with, and she teaches people how to make money by becoming a bestseller. And guess what? When she teaches people to do that, it has nothing to do with the book, because there's no money these days in a book. It's on the back end. It's having products and offers on the back end. So when you go to Amazon and you search in your niche, in your market, and you find these people who have a book, who are bestsellers or who are experts, most of the time when you Google them and you go to their website, they don't have a solid way to turn it into an online business to make money. Those are the perfect people for you to approach. And here's the thing. I'm a huge fan of just finding niches that I love. This is why I've got products in the sobriety niche. This is why I have products in health and wellness. And I'm not a health and wellness expert, but I'm interested in it. I'm passionate about it. And I see that people need help. I see that people need help with it. So I like to partner with great people and build good products to help them. But you can do this in any niche. You can just decide that you want to do it with, again, knitting, and you can build it in knitting. You can decide you love football and produce an expert and build a product in football. Whatever it is, I just say pick a niche that you're excited about, because you're going to be able to connect with the expert well, and you're going to have already an understanding of what the market needs. But here's the biggest tip when you're doing this. If in the future you want to build your own products, I highly suggest that you go find an expert in something that's related. A niche that would be interested in your products, but not someone that directly competes. So what I mean by that, let's say for me with this producer model, well, it's a great way for even beginners to be able to build an online business and start making money quickly online. So what I might do, and again, because of other businesses I do more in the health niche, but I'm just giving you an example for what I'm doing right here. I might go find someone who's in a space kind of like Gary Vee, but who is big on doing talks, wrote a book, doing coaching, teaching people how to find their life purpose. I might find someone like that, because I know that their whole list and all the people following them, they want more out of life. So I can help produce that person. We build a product, we make a lot of money, we help a lot of people. And then I know I've got a bunch of people who just decided that they want to find their life purpose and make a change in their life. So now I can come in and I can advertise something like the producer model and say, hey, if you want to change your life, free up your time, and build an online business where you actually make money, Here's the producer model. Or I can come in with the launch system training and say, hey, if you've decided that you want to build an online business, but you don't know where to start, here's where you can start. So while I'm finding those experts that I can produce, I'm also looking at long-term, what can I leverage to launch my own product, to get credibility with that audience, and to even have that relationship with them already through the first product. So now I can sell my own. And this is the same. Even if you have your own list already, I would do this first. And you can even, if it's a complementary market, this is a good way, because a lot of times we have lists, but we haven't necessarily been following up. We haven't made any offers. Here's a soft way to make an offer to that list. So you partner with an expert, you build a product, and you can even send a couple emails to your own list at the same time that expert is sending emails to their list. Because again, you're making 50% of all the sales. It lets people see you. It lets people see you're doing something. You don't just come out of nowhere, and it gives you that credibility. So it's an extremely, extremely powerful thing to do. So what I want you to do, we're going to take a quick break right now. I think, we'll go to 1:30, so 13 minutes. So let's take a quick break to 1:30. And when we come back, we're going to do the second half. We're going to take this and we're just going to go from step one, as if you have an expert you want to work with, and we're going to break down what you're going to do step by step, how to reach out, how to build a relationship, what to send them, how to work with them, how to build the product, how to promote it, what you're going to do with it. So what I want you to do on this break, maybe grab a little bite to eat for lunch. So yeah, well, actually what we'll do is we'll take 15 minutes. We'll give 15 minutes. We'll come back at 1:35. That way you do have time to eat and do this. I want you to go onto Amazon and try to find 5 experts that you would even be interested in learning out. Just go do search in a niche. You don't need to do all the research and find them. Maybe then just find 5 that you think, hey, these 5 have great reviews, great best-selling books. I'd like to learn more. And then of that 5, pick one that you may be interested in reaching out to partner with. Doesn't need to be the biggest fish in the sea. It doesn't matter. I just want you to have someone in mind. So when we go through these exercises, like how to find their contact information, how to reach out, how to partner, it gives you a little bit of context. It's not just all my examples. You'll be able to give your own. So go on break. I will see you in 17 minutes at 1. All right. Welcome back. Now, I do realize what I was saying when you said there's no audio. I muted my mic and then I was just saying, oh, and by the way, if you have questions about what we talked about before, feel free to put them in and I'll answer them when I get back. So I will put the same thing out to you now before we dive in to going through the process, because I just want to get in there, go through it. I'm going to talk about the question, Barb, that you asked. Also, to let you know, below the video in the Facebook comments is where I'm going to be posting the different resources, things like that. I posted a simple link to the picture of the launch system. So everything that you need to know, I find it's good to have that visual of just the simple registration, thank you, webinar, pay, registration, thank you, training. That's it. I also included a guide that I built that I don't give out anymore, but it's kind of a rundown of the launch system. It'll give you, so with everything that we talked about today, and with that, that'll just give you, because I know some people like to see it again and again. The first part of the guide is actually if you were starting from scratch and you wanted to launch your own product, how can you organically get some people to show up? How do you test your problem? Now, with the producer model, the experts already got all that solved. So you can skip right ahead to like week 2, I think it is, where it talks about creating the product. And again, I break down there just kind of the idea behind giving the live, giving that. It just breaks it down for you. But you don't need to go over that now, because we're going to run through things of how it all works, how to reach out, how to do that all in a second. But I put those resources for you there. And as we go through this next part, I'm going to have a few more little resources, one for you to download. So then you get a notebook you can work alongside. Some are just visual reminders because I like stuff like that. I'll put those there for you to download as well, and I'll let you know when they're there. When I put something in the Facebook comments, and I'll let you know that when I have, you may have to hit refresh on the page and to see it, but the video will keep playing, so don't worry about that. So let's see what we have here. So now, Barb, I addressed in the comments, but I'll address quickly here. You had a great question. For Amazon, would it be great to have a threshold you're looking for? Like when I looked at Carolyn's page and she's like, I have 500,000 unique visitors. To me, someone like a Carolyn or Caroline, I don't know how she says her name. I would find out before I reached out to her though. To me, that's like a hidden gold mine. I'm half tempted to reach out to her and produce a product for her because she's just the perfect everything sitting there waiting for someone to help her if she herself is interested. But as far as a threshold goes, there actually isn't one. I've worked with people that had massive names, massive lists, and it didn't really amount to much because they were so busy, they never promoted. And then I found people that were in more of a specified niche and they did really well with their audience. But I mean, they only had 15,000 Facebook followers, a few thousand people on their email for their blog, that sort of thing, a local bestseller, but not like an international thing. But they really knew their stuff and had a lot of high reviews. So the people following this expert really loved them. So I knew with a warm market, if we could partner, their people are willing to buy, they're willing to share, they're willing to talk about it. And we had quite a bit of success off to an early start. Whereas sometimes the bigger expert isn't necessarily the one you want to find. That's why I like to look for those reviews. If you're looking at 5-star reviews and you're hitting to under 100, then I would start to look. If you're searching in a niche where you're having trouble finding anyone that looks like a bigger expert like that, maybe it's a more complicated niche, but even then, if you're passionate about it, it could still be worth a try. Because I've met people who have made money. This is why I use it as an example all the time, where I'm like, even knitting. I know someone who built an online program selling things for people who knit, and they make good money. I know someone who ended up producing a summit built around the harp, the instrument, the classical instrument, the harp. They made good money, and you wouldn't normally think of that. So I don't want to give specific targets because each niche might be a little different. If I were going to be doing something in like the self-help or wellness niche, I look for higher numbers because there are more players in it. And I want someone who's got tons of 5-star reviews because they're showing me they're standing out. But if it's a little more of a little known niche, I wouldn't be too caught up on it. But, and we'll go through this shortly, there are ways to look to find out if maybe it's just a dead niche, if there isn't really money to be made in it. So maybe it'd be worth focusing somewhere else at first. So hopefully that answers your question. Finish up my coffee here. Mark, how much time do you spend to find a good person to write to? This is an awesome question. And I'm going to give you 2 answers. And I'm going to do this a lot as we go through. I'm going to give you 2 answers because I think it's fair. I'm going to give you what you should do. And I'm going to give you what I do because I sometimes do what I should do, but a lot of times I don't. And I'll show you why and how so that you can make the decision for yourself. But as far as how much time I spend, I mean, you basically saw enough for one. So if I were, let's say, looking in the keto and I came across someone like Caroline here, I've already seen enough. I've seen enough. So I'm going to put that aside. That's about all the time I'd spend there because I already found that enough, that there was enough there to interest me. I'm probably going to reach out to this person, and we'll go into step 2 in a moment of what you would do there. But this kind of leads into the start of it anyway. So what I'll do, and then what's the close rate? So Mark, you're asking perfect questions for me to just begin and get into it. Let me just read your question before I go. What is the close rate? 1 in 5, 1 in 19. I know each niche is different, but not asking for an expert number. All right, here we go. So when you're starting, this is what I'll do. I'll go and I'll try to find, and I say this is what I do, and why I said I'll give you the 2 answers is I'm at the point now where a lot of the people I work with are either through referral or connected now through one of the projects I have out there. And so they're half the time they'll come to me and be like, how do I do this myself? And I'll partner with them. Or I will see a very specific need that I need filled, and I will go find the 1 or 2 people that I think can fill it. So when you're first starting out and you don't have those relationships, you don't have that credibility, you're going to want to find a few more experts that you'd be interested in reaching out to. And you're also going to probably get a lower close rate, but I'll talk more about that in a second. So what I do is I'll go to Amazon and I'll just do this. And I will find on Amazon, I'll just go through in the niche I'm interested in. And sometimes I'll only find 2 or 3 that look like really, really good. Like just the way I showed you with Caroline, I'll look and I'll see 5-star reviews, lots. And so that's good. And I'll look, okay, they're not really selling anything online. And so let me share my screen with you again and show you what I mean. So I'll take a look here. So I just picked the top one. Here's the next one. Craveable Keto, your low carb, high fat roadmap to weight loss and wellness. So this is a neat one because it's about weight loss we can focus on. That's a powerful thing. And again, 500 5-stars. Now, if you look at the next highest, then we got one down here, 400. So these are good. So I'm seeing that. So let's just take these ones. So I'll go to the next one for now. And 5-star reviews from Kendra Holly. So I'll click her author page. Here we go. She actually has the author page. So I can look here and I can get a good idea of who she is. Here's some testimonials, blog posts. So check it out. I know she's got a blog. And if I click read more, this is probably her main website. All right. So the first thing, so here we go. Want 8 free weeks of low carb meal planning. And yes, this is my favorite price because it's free. So I see she's got a great opt-in on her website, which is a good sign because I know she's building an email list. Now, this also leads me to believe that maybe she does do some online programs already. So I'm going to take a look. First thing I do, be an affiliate, work with me. So this is looking like website, 2.3 million page views a month, 1.1 million unique. This girl is better than the first. Wow. Oh, and look, and so working with her is just if you want to market yourself to her list. So this is perfect. So what we now know about this person is that as a way for them to try to market and monetize their online message, they're letting people pay her. So if you want a dedicated newsletter blast with a follow-up mention, it's a $1,500. So she makes $1,500 to blast to her entire list promoting you. Now, so again, when I look at this, I think, imagine the potential if I reach out to her and say, hey, listen, instead of getting paid $1,500 to market other people to your list and have other people's message going to your list, imagine I help you. I'll do the work. I'll set up the blah, blah. Why is this pop-up coming? So this is annoying. This pop-up is an annoying one. Let me come back to the website. But I see that as a huge benefit. This person is definitely going to want to I have to click no thanks. So that's annoying. I would talk to her about that. I hate forced pop-ups like that. It would make me bounce. But look, I've got a same thing. I've got a banner here at the bottom with an ad. So she's trying to make money that way. Her books along the side, an ad for, again, Google ads again. For some reason, Google ads is really giving me a train trip. Maybe it's telling me something. And so same thing. So same ads around the site, same pop-ups, and her way to monetize it is to have you pay her to advertise to her list. Recipes, yeah, that's it. So I'm going to stop sharing now. So again, so there's 2 real high potential people who their website is telling me they need a way to make money. And so imagine I'm saying, instead of advertising other people to your list, instead of sending out, imagine you could just be promoting your own product. And we can put together a simple product. And let's say, so you get 1 million visits a month. Let's say we put together a product together that costs only $100 for people to join. I'll build it. I'll do the tech. You show up and teach. I'll help you market it. I'll help you figure all that stuff out. You show up, do what you love to do. If you got 30 people who are following you, 30 people to buy it, you could make that $1,500 and you're furthering your brand. Now, do you think with 1.1 million unique views a month to your website, plus however many thousands on her email list, you can get 30 people to spend $100? I mean, we know she has thousands of people who spent $40 buying her cookbook. Do you think a live training with her going deep into the losing weight with keto, do you think that those people may be interested? I think we can do well. I think she would easily be a 5-figure partnership right away. From now to reaching out to having a product, she could be easily a potential 5-figure deal. So that's what I'll do. I'll find a couple people. The next step, now I'm going to share something with you as well, but I'm also going to post it into the resources. So when you're asking how much time I'll take, so you saw that I'll take a few minutes. I'll go through the site. I'll go through the page. And then what I'll do is I'll find, okay, that's 2 now that I'm really interested in. That's enough for me right now. I'm going to go off because I'm confident that I'm going to get one of these 2 people. Maybe you want to do it till you have 5, 10, whatever it is. When you're first starting, you're going to need more. So that's why I say find 5. Those 5 might say no. But again, you're not investing a ton of time into it, as you can see. So what I'll do is I'll find that. So now I've got her. I better figure out the name. I forgot it from the book. Another pop-up just popped up. You don't see it, but that's always annoying. So we talk about that. But all day I dream about food.com. Hilarious. So in her contact, here she is. All right. So we'll just use Carolyn. So when I'm looking at that, I'm going to now go click on the website and go to the social media where I can see her page. I can see the types of things she posts. And here we go. All right. This is amazing. I couldn't have planned this better. I did not plan this, but I'm going to share my screen with you. So what I would do, I've now clicked Caroline from her website. This is her Facebook page. This is what comes up. And the first thing I see when I scroll down is a post made with just a few ingredients. These healthy peanut butter cups have the flavor of classic candy. You're going to learn something about me right now. I am a peanut butter fiend. I love peanut butter. It's delicious. Peanut butter cups, especially, so I don't eat like Reese's peanut butter cups or anything like that. But if I were to make them, this would be how I would love to make them, with maple syrup and natural peanut butter and maybe some coconut. I wouldn't put a low carb sweetener, but that's her thing. So this is awesome. I see something immediately that I can connect with. So let's do this as if I'm doing it real time. I'm going to share a different screen with you to show you what I would do. So I see that post. That's awesome. Mark, are you going to go after these two ladies, or can I? Yeah, I know I'm not. I have too many projects on my own going. So if one of you want to do this, you can follow up. And it's funny. I always say the beautiful thing about the producer models, there's no competition, because experts like this are this is just, I searched keto diet. You could search any type of diet. You're going to find 20, 30 different potential experts like this. I clicked the first two and they happen to be gold. There's tons more in there. And Mark, maybe we'll talk about that and we'll do that. And so here's what I would do. So now you've seen the time for me to just kind of look at a couple people, see if they would be a good fit. Now what I'm going to do, and I'll share this with you. Now I put this is the second link I posted below the video. It's called the 3 steps to connecting with experts and influencers. And this is what I do every time. And now another one of your questions, Mark, you asked me about close ratio. Is it 1 in 5, 1 in 19? I personally have almost a 100% close ratio, because I pick certain experts that I want, and I go and I build a relationship with them first to get them. Now, of course, you'll always get people say no. That happens. People are too busy. But anytime, this system I'm about to show you, it's so simple. 3 steps to reaching out, connecting with any expert or influencer. It's what I use. This project here, we just launched last week. We've already got over 40 interviews with the top people in that niche. They agreed to come do interviews and help us, and they promote our project. We almost never get people say no, they won't do an interview, because of following this system that I'm doing here. I talk about when I first got started and I was broke and I did that summit. This is the system I used to follow, where I was broke, no name, never done anything online, was barely on Facebook. And I was able to get some of the top marketers in the world to do an interview with me. In fact, you'll see I have a quote from Barry Plaskow. Barry Plaskow is one of the few experts out there who really run with the producer model, teaching it and using it. It's his entire business model. And even him, I wanted to pick his brain on something with a producer model, get a video of him saying something awesome about it, and get a quote. I used this system to reach out to him. He said, absolutely, no problem. Jumped on a video call with me, let me record it, and said if I ever want anything else from him, if I want him as a case study for something, if I want to do an interview with him, let him know. This simple system. It's so easy to follow, but most people don't do it. And that's what makes this different. Here's the thing. When you go to reach out to an expert, you're not the only one. They've got tons of people who are going to be reaching out to them, trying to sell them something, trying to get money from it, trying to get them to promote them, trying to get something from them. Experts get it all the time, and they're sick of it. So here are the 3 steps to connecting with experts and influencers. Like I said, you can download this. It's the second link under the video in the Facebook comments, I believe. And it's really, really simple. And the 3 steps is first to compliment, second to add value, and then third is to make your request. So you're going to see this, and I won't go over this exactly, but you can download this to follow along and to have later. And here it is in a nutshell. So what, and if you don't see these resources under the video, you'll see where there's Facebook comments. Refresh this entire window. The video should automatically start up. If it doesn't, just hit play on it. It'll start going again. It'll pick back up and it'll refresh all those resources. I know the Facebook comments don't automatically refresh live. What you can also do, actually, let me share my screen. You don't have to refresh the whole page. I lied. Share my screen here. Awesome. So right now you can see the screen. Underneath the video, here's where I started posting the resources, and I will post more. But what you can do is right here where it says sort by, you could actually click. Right now it's on newest. Just change it to oldest. And by doing that, it'll automatically refresh this list. So without having to refresh the whole page, again, if you refresh the whole page, you'll see the video will start back up again. You might be a second behind, but that's okay. But that's what you can do. So just click that sort by. So when you're reaching out to experts, again, remember this, and this isn't, and everybody forgets this. It's always about me, because you want to do something. And you know, like if I reached out to one of these experts that we just found here today, let's say Carolyn, I know I can help her. I know she should partner with me to do this. And again, I'm not reaching out to her, but someone should. So what most people do, because they know the person needs it, they reach out and go, I can do this for you. You should do this. You can do this, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you're just now one of 30 people who sent them an email that day trying to get something from them. Here's how you stand out. And PS, here's how I get through probably 70 or 80% of the gatekeepers. You know, when you're going for a really big expert and they've got that gatekeeper and you can never get through and you can never get the interview with them, you can never get their time because you always have to go through that first person. This is how I almost every single time, like I said, it's probably 70 or 80%, get through the gatekeeper and get to the expert. So the first step is compliment. So what I would do, now I found my expert, I found out they're a good fit. I went to their Facebook, their social media, because I want to see what kind of things they're promoting. So I saw that she was promoting a recipe. So she's promoting her recipe books and probably her website for her email list. But that's it. So I'd find that peanut butter recipe and I would like it. I would comment on it. I'd be like, this is incredible. I love peanut butter cups, but don't eat Reese's peanut butter cups for obvious reasons. I'm going to make these. Then I would do something, again, that most people don't do. That's remarkable. I would go make them. So she said it's like a 15-minute recipe. This is a win-win for me. I get to go make delicious peanut butter cups and I get to try them. And then I'd probably even take a picture of me eating one of these, biting into one of these peanut butter cups, loving it with my thumb up. And then I would send her an email saying, headline of something, OMG, your peanut butter cups are the bomb. Here's a picture of me eating one. I guarantee if she gets her own email, she opens that one. And if she has a gatekeeper, the gatekeeper's opening it. And in that email, I'm going to have a picture of me shoving my face full of her peanut butter cups, just saying, wow, I see a lot of recipes out there. I tried your peanut butter cup recipe. Absolutely loved it. Went on your blog, just signed up for your 8 weeks of recipes. Love what you're doing. You're doing a great job. You're helping people. Keep it up. That's it. I didn't say, by the way, I do this and I think I can help you, or I think you need what I have to offer, or anything. It wasn't about me. I just compliment. and make it a genuine compliment. Now, if they have a podcast, maybe you listen to a podcast episode. If they have a book, maybe you buy their book, but instead go to Amazon, read the free preview first chapter, see what it's like, see some posts that they've done. Go find something that they've shared that you can genuinely compliment. And if you can't find something, that's not someone you want to partner with. So find something and compliment. That's it. Then sit back and wait a minute. They will always, always, always come back to you with, hey, thank you so much, or I really appreciate it. Or in the case of link access denied, thank you for pointing that out. I will make sure you get permission to that. Or in the case of a gatekeeper, the gatekeeper a lot of times will actually send you on. And I get this response all the time. It'll be a gatekeeper or someone like that, and they'll come through and say, you're right, access is denied. That's annoying. Oh, because I moved it. So let me change that for you. Anyway, and so the gatekeeper will come on and say, you know what? Hey, I'm so-and-so, and I actually run and monitor all of the emails for whatever expert, but I really appreciate your feedback. I know they're going to love it. I'm going to send it along. And in fact, one of the big experts that I'm interviewing for this project, the person actually came back and said, I'm printing out your email to give to them because I know that he's going to love to hear it. So that was really cool. All right. Refresh the Facebook comments now because I just posted in the updated 3 steps. And to make it easier, I will delete the one that did not work. Excellent. So that's how you get through the gatekeeper too, because it's a compliment. Everybody gets all these emails. You know how nice it feels when you get an email from someone saying, hey, just to let you know, I see what you're doing and I really like it. Keep it up. Great stuff. That feels great. So they get it. They open it. They share it. And I've almost every single time I get a reply saying, hey, thank you so much. It's never a long reply. Sometimes it is, but usually don't expect that. Here, this next step, though, is the key. Now, if they reply, I will follow up with this step almost immediately. If they don't reply, I'll usually give it about 24 hours or so and then follow up with this. And I'll say, hey, listen, I'm really loving what you're doing. I see you're promoting on your website 8 weeks free recipes. I want to share your stuff with some of the people that I'm connected to. What are you promoting right now? Or what would be the best place for me to send them? If you've done this up to this point, and you see, like I'm sending, it's a couple sentences and there's not a set script for this. This is you. It's your voice. If you do this, you have separated yourself from 99% of the emails they get. You've complimented them. You've shown you're a fan. You complimented something specific. So you're not just sending a generic, hey, what you do is great and you're a leader. Let me talk to you how I can help you. That's what people do. You took a little bit of time to do it. Again, it doesn't take a lot of time. You could have gone from start to finish this stage in 15 minutes. Easily. I could have just, as I said this stuff to you, typed it to Caroline, whatever her name is. I would find that out from one of her videos. And now you follow up saying, where would you like me to send people? One, you're starting to show that you understand that there's strategy behind traffic. You understand that sharing someone's Facebook post might not be as valuable to that person as sharing their free download where they get into their system, or maybe sharing a cookbook they're newly launching because they're trying to make it a bestseller on Amazon. So the fact that you're saying this to them, you're reaching out to them and saying, I want to share you with some people. What would you like me to send them to? Sometimes I've had people reply back and go, hey, that's awesome. Send them to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow that. Perfect. You've stepped out. You've complimented them. You've given them value. You're saying, I want to help them. You're giving. You haven't asked for anything. That's when the third step comes in. And now again, I'll follow up with this usually the next day. And that's when I'll follow up. I'll have maybe shared their stuff, looked further in what they wanted. Maybe at this point now I've gone through their email a little bit. I would have gotten their first email. I would have gotten the first week recipes in her 8-week program. That's when I can then follow up again the third time. And that's when I would say, wow, I'm diving into your stuff. I see your books. You are killing it. Like, you're doing great stuff. You're giving huge value. But I noticed as I'm going through your stuff that you're using ads to try to monetize your online traffic, or you're selling people the opportunity to advertise to your list. Well, how does this sound? I actually am a producer. And so I partner up with subject matter experts who are looking to take their message, and when they have to work one-on-one with people, or they're trying to find a way to build an online business where they can help thousands of people, I partner up with them and help them do that. I do all the tech. I do everything. I run it. I help you figure out exactly what course to offer, help you promote it. Because when I see someone like you, I know you have thousands of people coming to your site who have already bought from you and want to buy more from you. And I see you have all these monthly visitors. I want them to be able to buy more from you, because I myself would love to go deeper with you, but there's not really a chance. So I'll tell you what, nothing up front. I'm not asking anything from you. The way I normally work with people is we'll do a split, so there's no risk. I'll run everything. I'll help you set it up and get it going. All you have to do is do what you love, show up and teach, change lives. We'll split it 50-50. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in chatting more about? That's it. Really, really simple. It's very, just the way you would speak on the phone is the way you put that email together. And more often than not, you will have people say, you know what, maybe I'm really busy, or I'm actually working on something, are the only things I get, but you know what, maybe send me some more information, or let's have a little conversation. They'll all have a different way to reply, to reach out. But most of the time, what I try to do is try to get a quick phone call. You don't. A lot of my partnerships have actually happened through email. They'll respond saying, hey, that sounds really cool. How does it work? In that case, I'll take kind of the partnership agreement that I have for you. In fact, why don't I just share that with you now? See, producer model agreement. Here it is. And copy link. And so this, you can refresh the Facebook comments again. I just posted this. This is the kind of agreement that I use. Now, I will change it depending on my conversation with the expert, depending on what they've kind of said they wanted or what they didn't want. But what I'll do is, if they want to follow up, oh, send me more info, what I'll do is actually send them this agreement. And I'll say, well, here's an example of the kind of agreement that I make with people when I work with them. Because again, now I'm not saying that right away. Like, I definitely need to learn more about you before we would go to that next step to see if you're a right fit. Because again, I'm investing my time up front. The risk is on me. There's no risk on your side. So, but if we decided that we were a fit for each other, this is the kind of agreement, and it'll show you kind of what I'm in charge with, what kind of things I follow. And let me share the screen with you and I'll show you the agreement. And so again, you can download this and you can use this template. You can use this for your stuff. And so listen, I have it where I've got name, agree to partner to help you create and deliver your training. Now, any of the expenses for the site, like technology, hosting, advertising, is on me. And we'll take that from any sales that we would agree with down the road. The expenses come out, but then we just split the profit. And that way it's a fair way that you do it. But here's also the thing. These costs aren't that high, because chances are you're probably paying most of them already anyway, if you have your own website. So your costs aren't very high to do this with someone. So, but I put that in the front just in case. I say any of the expenses are on me and I'll take that risk on, even though I'm already paying those things monthly anyway. Now, then what I say is every month I'd provide a breakdown of the income, expenses, and then I'll transfer you share of the profits. So you can see everything. You can see everyone who signed up. You have access to that anytime you want. And then I would split the profit with you. Now, again, there are ways to set this up to automate it. I'm not going to worry you about that right now. And so I have this set up for the basic, like let's say you do it through PayPal or something. And then I have this, my role. So I'm telling them my role is to help you package your knowledge in a way that helps people not only learn and understand the content, but take action on it as well. So how it should be delivered, how much info, being the product, the course. This is basically running over the launch system with them. And I'm going to give you exercise in a minute that you would run through with them to do this. So I won't read this whole thing to you because you have it now and you can read it. But then I have the technology. I'll be responsible for doing the tech, doing that. You basically just need to show up and deliver it. So that's, and I also make a point to say the intellectual property is all the authors. Now I say it's the authors. If they are in charge of producing all of the content, the first thing they're going to wonder is, well, can you then take that content and sell it on your own down the road? Who owns that intellectual property? So I say the author does. Any content they provide, they own. I can't take it and repackage it and sell it without their consent. But in some cases, in some partnerships, you actually will deliver some of the training. Maybe you'll give some of your story. Maybe you'll give an example because you've partnered with someone in a niche that you know. So in that case, obviously your intellectual property is yours. But that's it. And then I just say they'll begin promoting the training to their current followers. So I'm saying it up front. You are promoting this to your people. They're waiting to get more from you. They're waiting to buy. They want your help. You need to give it to them. Then once we perfect it, then we can expand our reach through ads or something like that, or promote through affiliate. So then I have 2 here. You get to choose. We agree to share the customer list and split revenue 50-50 generated from that list for future offers. So if you get 500 people to buy with this expert, with this list, you agree that you both get to make offers down the road to that list. But if you do, you share the profit with the other expert because you built it together. Another way to do it is to agree to share the list. So you will both be able to make offers on your own where you make 100% of the profit, but there are always certain parameters around that. And this you discuss on the phone where maybe you both have to agree to what it is and it has to be related to the original offer. So if you put together, let's say that keto diet course and we sold it to 1,000 people at $100. I can't follow up and say, hey, I've got a business training that I'm doing. If you're interested, sign up. Because those people signed up for health, not for business. But if I've got an exercise program I want to put together an offer, maybe with another partner, that's okay because that's related. So then I say it can be canceled anytime by either party because I don't want to work with people that don't want to work with me. Some people like to put a 30-day thing in here. That's fine by you. And then I have simply reply yes if you agree with this and we're going to get started. Welcome to the team. Let's go. That's it. And why I say sign it, I don't have them sign it. I don't have them doing it. Cannot open. I saved it as a PDF, so it should open. Oh, unless, you know what? I'm going to do this while I talk. I uploaded my pages. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So my fault. So while I talk, I'll upload this. But anyway, so when you're looking at that form, you'll see I have just reply yes. Because here's the thing. I don't want to, one, have anyone working with me that doesn't want to. Two, every time you make someone do an extra step, like a signature, like sign it, feels like a binding agreement, it's one extra chance for them to back out or be nervous or say they don't want to. And that's what a lot of people do. They're like, well, I want it in writing that they're going to do this. They're going to share it. If you do it this way and you find the right expert, it won't go wrong. They won't back out on you. They won't skip out. And remember, you're the one that's in charge of the list. You're in charge of the money. So what are they going to do if they want to back out? Right? You're in charge. You have the stuff. So if they back out, you've gotten paid for whatever you did. And you got to make some money. You get to use an example. You get to move on. I personally haven't had anything like that happen where the expert left and I had money owing or that kind of thing. In the past, I had some partnerships like that go wrong where we build the product up front and that stuff, but that's why I don't do it anymore. That's why I do everything live. So Now I've uploaded that. Cool. So I'll have that to you in a sec so you could download it. But that's the key of this all. The key of it all is to keep things simple and keep things loose and light. But if you, why is that uploading pages? No. I will have this document to you in a second. I promise. PDF. Keep it light. And if you find the right experts, you won't have anything go wrong. It'll all work out. People will like you. People will get along with you, and they'll want to keep doing business with you. And that's the key that I hope you're seeing with everything that I do and the strategy to reach out in this partnership. It's always just about really building that relationship and having things be mutual the whole way through. 1 to 7. Here we go. Experts and influencers PDF. So check under the Facebook one more time. Paste. Post. Mo Exposure. Awesome. Awesome question. Is it so? Refresh the Facebook post and you should be able to download the, oh my God, I posted the wrong one. Just ignore me. Just ignore me. Trying to do too many things at once. Okay. I'll just make sure I send it to you after, email it if this doesn't work. Because for some reason I'm uploading it, but it's not showing up as a PDF. So not sure why. But that's an awesome question. So is it a legal requirement or is it just good manners? Kind of neither, kind of the second part. You can do whatever you want with that list. Ish, because people signed up from you. Now, if you spam them with completely unrelated products and offers, you can still do it in a way that doesn't bother them, in a way that it doesn't take away from any of the spam acts or anything like that. So you could just be like, hey, you signed up for my webinar on this. I'm glad. Following up to see if you have any questions. Also, hey, I'm offering a business training. So if you happen to be interested in business, then this could be for you. So you can do something like that. But the problem is you might get people complain if it's too off the side. Another problem of doing it if it's completely unrelated is, let's say you get 100 people to buy and the 100 people on your list and you make an unrelated offer, you might get 5 people to buy, but you've also maybe turned off the other 95 people. So even though, yes, you might be able to make a few sales of whatever it is you're offering, you can do a lot better even just finding an affiliate product out on ClickBank or JVZoo or somewhere like that and offering that to them. And that's also another point that I'll make is, I like to use Amazon. You can go to iTunes to find experts. Go to iTunes, find podcasts, and go to iTunes' most popular podcast section and just look in your niche. Are there any super popular podcasts? Listen to the podcast for a few seconds. Do they have an ad for a product because they're trying to get sponsorships to make money on it? Well, as soon as you hear an ad for another company, another product, same thing like the blog, you can approach that person and say, hey, would you rather promote your own thing and make money doing that? Usually the answer is yes. Okay, so now I've got this one more time. Refresh the Facebook comments and tell me if you can see and view and edit the partnership agreement. It's PDF. It should work. How long does residual income from the original deal usually last? Honestly, it completely depends. You don't normally have too many go past a year from the original, and for different reasons. And I'll get into those in a sec. And usually what you'll find, let's say I partnered with Caroline for the keto diet. When we first launch, let's say we did it 10,000. Someone like that, you should be able to do a lot more. But let's say we do 10,000. On average, month after month, because it's ads on their blog, and maybe they'll send an email about it once a month, but you're not doing that initial push, you'll find that usually the ongoing sales will be somewhere around 25% of what you did in that first launch. And that'll go usually for about 6 months, a year, before one of two things happen. One, they move on and have something else that they're building or offering that they want to promote. So they start promoting that, in which case that's fine. Or two, you have people that will actually want to do another product with you. Let's do another launch. Let's launch this again. Let's do a membership site together. Let's do a group coaching package, whatever it is. So a lot of times they'll want a different product down the road that you can build. Now, what I will say though, because you have that product built, you can also, if you want, after that initial momentum dies down, if it's a great product that got people great results, you can go find, let's say, another podcast that you might want to produce. Let's say I promote Caroline, that first keto diet book we found. And then I want to also approach next month, after we launch that product with the first girl. Both of them are girls, funny enough. The second girl, I would like to produce her. Well, what I could do to start with is say, hey, I built this cool training program with this other person. It would be a great offer. You know, they did something how people can lose weight with keto. We can offer that if you want as an affiliate. Why don't you sign up? You can offer it to your list. You'll make 50% of any of the sales from it. And it gives value to your list, and it's still building on the keto diet. What do you say? They might become an affiliate with you, and then they would sell it. You give them 50% of the sales, and then the remaining 50% you split with your original partner. But then you can approach the person right after they do that affiliate promotion and say, hey, why don't we build your own? So that way, instead of making it on someone else's product, you could be advertising your own. You can keep, even though you build it once, you can keep driving back to it. You can keep reusing it. You can keep finding ways to do it. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's what I'll do. I'll reach out. I'll find someone I'm interested in working through. It could be a blogger, podcaster, author, speaker, consultant, coach, but someone that has a following, knowing what they're doing. I'm going to go find their stuff. I'm going to like it so they see me pop up on social media. Maybe I'll comment on a few things. Maybe I'll share something. Then I'm going to send them an email complimenting them. Now, usually there will be some kind of email either on their website, or there will be an email contact. Often they'll have something on their LinkedIn. If they don't, if they're one of those people, you cannot find a way to email them, here's a fun little thing you can do. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to do it live with you here, actually. Let me share my screen. This is how I'm able to, most of the time, find emails, even when people don't share their email. So if I share this page, so what I'll do, I've got this website with the big flashy V. Like the first thing you notice is this big yellow Via Rail ad. Like, imagine that could be an ad for her own product. It would be amazing. I'm going to copy the address. I won't copy the contact part, just the main part. And I'm going to come over here to whois.net. And this is going to give me all the information for the domain. So I'm going to search the domain. Look at all this information that you get. Now check this out. Creation date 2011. So I can see that she's been doing this for almost 7 years. So that's gives me, again, an idea that she really knows what she's doing, knows her stuff, and knows what to do. But now I'm going to go down and I'm going to look in here. Sometimes they have privacy on, sometimes they don't. Yeah, looks like they have just the GoDaddy information. Yep. So this one's paying. When you have a domain, you can pay for privacy. If you're ever wondering what that is, it's basically this. So I can't see who actually registered, but sometimes here, like if you search my website, you'll probably be able to see it. In fact, that might be fun. I'm going to give you a good idea. Oh, I did put it on this page. Hilarious. I normally don't. That's why I looked. Anyway, like probably 2 out of 5 times, you'll actually get an email here that you can reach out to and contact. And sometimes there's even a phone number. I don't suggest phoning people out of the blue, but I can't tell you the number of times when I'm looking to do interviews with people, I found the email address to them through this. So it's just a real fun way to look at it, a real fun way to try to find who it is. How do you key in on the best first product to do with them? This is the next stage. So when you're reaching out with them, you can give an idea. So what I'll do is I'll look at their website. I'll look at comments on their social media. I'll look at the comments that people did on their Amazon, and I'll see what common trends there are. If it's maybe if I don't see anything clear, then what I'll do is lead with the book. They wrote a book. They're proud of their book. I saw with Caroline here, I saw that she wrote in recipes. She still sells recipes. She sells recipe books. So I know recipes are her main thing. So when I first reach out, I might say, people would love to go further with your recipes. They'd love to know how you do it, how you shop, what you include, how you work it with your family, updated things, behind the scenes, like that kind of stuff. They want the, like, you've got your recipe book. Now they want the, like, in-depth walk them through it. Maybe they want the accountability. So I would just approach with that. Say, I know there are tons of people. You can make your own course. We can go deeper into your book. Or if there's something that you've been seeing from your audience that they want, we could give that to them. Because remember, they're the expert. They know their market. Sometimes they'll already have an idea like, yes, I've been wanting to do a course with this and go deeper on this, but I just haven't known how. Maybe we could do that. Or maybe they'll just say, oh, you know what? That's great. People love the book. I'd love to be able to go deeper with them, give them an accountability system with it, maybe show them some of the keys of how to actually make these recipes. And that's your product. And again, because you do it live, and this is open conversations you have with the expert, because you're doing it live, there's no risk. Let's say you decide you're going to do something deeper in the book. You put it out. The market's not interested in it. You've wasted an hour. And now you know to tweak it. Well, let's maybe focus more on the weight loss side. She's been doing this for 7 years. I guarantee she has way more than enough content to do 5 different training courses. We just want to pick out one. So good point, Mark. You actually will do that. And I'll get to this. And I have an exact exercise that we'll walk into right now to do this with the expert. But a lot of time, you're just going to guide them through this exercise that we're about to go through, and they will end up coming up with the content. So Fiona, hello. I send a test email to a email address formats that I guess put a read receipt on email in incorrect formats. That's such an awesome idea. So many times people have their first name at website.com, info at website.com, contact at website.com, first dot last name at website.com, support at website.com. So that could be an interesting way to do it as well. Like Fiona mentioned, where you can send an email to those formats that are common, that you know people normally have at least one of. Heck, their name at gmail.com, especially if they have a little bit of a, not like necessarily a common name. I mean, the number of people that do that, it's wild. Their website at gmail.com, a lot of people use because they set up a Gmail to use and all the other things. They set it up that way. So great tip. So you found your expert, you reached out, and they go, I'd be interested in approaching this and doing this. Where do we start? What would we do? So your first step is to nail down that exact point, what it is. This is where most of the work is going to be done. This one exercise here, I call it the stack. And in fact, I have a slide actually. This one is already a PDF, so you can download this right away. All right. I just posted it in the comments below. So again, go to the sort by, click the sort button, and you'll see a document called the stack. That's this. Let me share my screen. So we're going to go over it. This is what I do when I get someone who goes, all right, you know what? I'd be interested in doing this. Where do we start? What do we build? What's the product? How does this work? So I start here. Now, and I won't go over this stuff. This stuff we're going to go over after. Just so you know, everything I do is designed to get people to want to go to the next step with you, but do it in the simplest way possible. So in one of the follow-ups we're going to do, I'm going to go deep into this stuff for when you're building your own products. With the producer model, you don't need to worry so much about these things. But when you want to do your own product, your own launch, this stuff is going to change your life. And that's the 3 C's to selling on your website. But for now, this is what I want to focus on. So this is the stack. This is the download that you're going to see in the Facebook comments below the video. Now, you can download this, you can print this out, but this is a guide. You don't fill this in right away. You're going to eventually fill in these little levels, but you're going to do this on a piece of paper, and you're going to work from the bottom, this A to B at the bottom, and you're going to work your way up. And this right here, this stack is what's going to take you from connecting with your expert and just having an idea to build a product. It's going to help you build the product, build the webinar, what you're offering, how to offer it, what you lead with, and what you post on social media. All those things of what to do. You don't need to be a marketing expert because you've got the stack. And this is your cheat guide to being an expert marketer without having to be an expert marketer. If you take this stack and pair it with the knowledge that your expert has and the understanding of their market they have, because they've already been selling to them, you will be unstoppable. So let me take a quick here. Awesome. So what do you start with? You start at the bottom. So you've connected with your expert. Here's what the bottom is. A to B. What does that mean? Wrong webinar. There we go. So on a piece of paper, and you would go through this with your expert. You can send them the stack. You can send them this, and you can work through it over the phone. You can get them to do it as homework. It's up to you, whatever your comfort level is, depending how much you know. If you know the market, if it's a niche that you're confident in, like let's say I reached out to Caroline. I know the health and wellness niche. I've helped build multiple products in it. I would be able to build off seeing the general knowledge and information that Caroline's put out there. I would be able to build a basic stack that she can then work off. But chances are, if it were me, I'd get on the phone. We'd go through this together briefly, and then I'd give it to her as homework that she can work on, because it takes a little bit of time to do right, as you're going to see in a minute. But I'd basically give this to her as homework. She can go work on it, and then we'll get back and go over it. So here's step 1. You write at the top of a piece of paper, A on one side, B on another. This is going to be about their audience, their target market. A is where they are now. And you're going to dig in, like all of the pains that they're feeling. And you can ask questions. So again, your job is to guide your expert. Your job is to get them trying to think of what they can do. Your job is to get them just to kind of go through the process. So for A, get them to really ask the questions. This is why it takes time, because they'll give you a couple generic questions, generic answers. Well, what pain are they feeling? Well, they're feeling stuck. Aren't we all? What does that mean? Well, they want to lose weight. Don't we all? What does that mean? And this is your job, to just keep asking them. We'll go deeper. What kind of words do they use? Are they stuck? What are they stuck with? Where are they stuck in life? What do they complain about to their partner with at night? Like, what questions do you get? Get them to think and go as deep as they can. Get them saying, well, they've taken every diet out there and they work temporarily, but they don't keep the long-term results. Now we're getting to something that's a pain their market might be feeling. Well, they know what they need to do, but it doesn't fit they can't fit it into their life. With their kids and their spouse, it's too busy. They just can't do it. That's a pain they're feeling. Now, as the expert just keeps going, keeps writing, keeps brainstorming these A's, and you just keep saying, just go deeper, go deeper. What can they do? What kind of words would they use? What's that feel like for them? When they feel like they know what they should be doing, but they're not doing, how does that feel? They feel like they don't have any willpower. They feel disappointed in themselves, like they can't stick to their commitments. These things start to come up. So that's A. So you just work through this with your expert. Then over at B, and this is what's going to help you, by the way, determine what that product's going to be. Because at first, I did this with one of my experts. They were a best-selling author. And when I first went out to them, they said, and we said, what does your market want? Recipes. They want more recipes. They want more books. They want more recipes. That's what they sold a cookbook. So that's what this expert wanted to offer the market. More recipes. We started going through this A to B. We started working on it. We ended up having multiple products. Not one of them was ever more recipes. It went into, I won't get into all the different things because, again, with some of my experts, I don't normally like to say who they are because a lot of them are the face and they don't like, sometimes they don't want people to know there's someone behind the scenes. And sometimes I'm on the webinar doing an introduction, introducing the expert. Completely depends. There's no right or wrong answer. But in this case, we ended up building multiple products based on those pain points that we came up with for their audience. And you're going to see some interesting things. If you want to build a product, do this and really get clear. Go into Facebook, go into social media groups, find where that audience is hanging out and watch for what questions they ask. Look at what they say. I wouldn't do all that with an expert because the expert usually will be able to do this on their own. But if it's for your own product, get clear on this. The clearer you can get, the better you will do. So now you've done that. You've written a bunch of things on A, a bunch of pain points and things that your audience is feeling right now. Next, on the other side of the page, keep sharing the wrong thing there. On the other page, what you're going to do is the B. What do they want? What are their goals and dreams? What are their desires? So if they're feeling tired of trying all the diet programs and nothing works, where do they want to be? What do they want to achieve? What do they want to accomplish? What do they want their life to be about? Then you're going to take a step back with your expert. You're going to look at the pain they have. You're going to look at what the person wants, what their market wants. Then you ask a very simple question. What knowledge or expertise do you have that can help move your audience from A and get them to B? That's the course. That's your framework, your solution. Your solution to that problem is what you're going to teach on that course. Now, here's a big step. You see, I have it as your framework or your solution. You want to be able to break it down into steps. You want to have the 3 steps to this, the 5 pillars to this, the 2 secrets to do this. People like to know that you have a solution that's broken down into steps. So that's what you're going to sell on your webinar. You're going to sell this solution, this knowledge that this person has, and they're just going to teach it live like I'm teaching with you now. So they already have that knowledge. They already know how to teach it. They've been doing it for years. You're just going to help them packaging it up into a nice, pretty solution. But they'll know how to do that. They're the expert. That is not on you. That's their job. Now, once you have this framework solution, how do you sell it? So the next step, all right, so I've got my solution. Let's say my solution that we're working with right now is the producer model, right? There's the producer model is the solution to build a profitable online business quickly, risk-free, which is something I barely even talk about with people. But when you do it live like this, there's almost no risk. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars building up a list. You get to leverage someone else's list. The benefits go on and on. So to sell it, what you want to do is break down each step. What is each step? So if the solution is the producer model, and I tell people, great, there are 5 cornerstones to the producer model. What is that? There's the business model, the products, the experts, the customers, and then the business. And so right now with you today, we're just focusing on the fast start stuff. I don't want to overwhelm you with too much. We're going to be getting into the rest of that stuff. We're going to be getting into other product types you can build, how to scale it, how to do that stuff. You're going to get started doing this first with the launch system and reaching out to experts. Then we'll build on it. But so that's what I would do. So now I can break it down. So if I've got those 5 steps, I just want a sentence for each. So the model is teaching people about the business model, how to structure it. The products is what kind of different products you can build. What are the advantages and disadvantages to each? Then the experts, where to find them, how to reach out, connect with them. The customers, how to get people to buy once you do, which again, we're talking in this stack right now. And then the business, where do you go from there? So that's this next step. So once they have the solution, you're going to work with them to break it down into a simple bullet by bullet point, like I just did with you right now. Then once you've done that, the next step is prove it. This is my favorite one. Now I'm going to come back to you because again, you could download this, you have this, you could see this. So now you're talking to your expert, you're working with them. They've got, okay, this is the course I want to teach. I want to teach people how to lose weight with the, how to find the perfect keto recipes to lose weight for your body. Let's say that's the course. I have no idea if that's even a thing with the keto diet, but let's say that's it. That's the course. Great. So you have the 10 foods for their body. So you work with your expert. Okay, well, what are the steps? So first they need to figure out what their body type is and all that. Then we need to figure out what their diet restrictions are and all of that. And then we need to determine the actual recipes that work for them. And then the final step is how to get them to actually implement it working in their life. So this is a 4-step course that we've got. At the top one, we break each one in just 1 or 2 sentences of what each section will cover. That's how you know what you're going to say to sell it in your webinar. So you're guiding the expert through all of this. So now you've got that. Now what you do is prove it. So you say to your expert, great, people are having this problem, they're struggling. What can we teach them to help prove that you have a solution for them? Is it something we can do to make them feel better right away? Something we can do to make them realize where they're wasting time? Something we can teach? What can we do up front that lets them know you actually have a solution for them? This is what you're going to teach on the webinar. So for me, I put into my webinar, how do I prove it? I showed enough of the producer model in my webinar that you watched to get here that someone on their own can understand at least the idea that instead of making my own products, I can leverage an expert. I can leverage them. I can leverage their list they already have. And I gave you an idea of where you can find them. So that's enough where it can click with someone to go either, yes, I believe this is something I can do. And maybe they go do it on their own. Maybe you're a do-it-yourselfer. That's fine. Or enough to go, yes, I believe that this can make a difference. And this is what I want to do. I'm going to join Roger and let him fast track my results. And by the way, don't let me forget at the end, I want to set up the first Q&A. So I want you to start thinking. I'm thinking of even doing either this Monday or Tuesday evening so that I'm going to give you some homework fairly shortly that you're going to go start working through. And I want to have a Q&A fairly soon that you can ask any questions. We can go over your stuff. We can look at it. We can work through it. So think if Monday or if this Monday or Tuesday evening would work, let me know. So that's it. Prove it. That's what they're going to lead with on the webinar. It doesn't, there are so many webinar trainings out there and webinar templates, things like that out there that are really complicated and confusing. I'm teaching you how to do this really, really simply so that you don't need to learn how to build a complicated webinar and your expert doesn't either. So let me go back and I'm going to finish this quickly so that you can get the ideas of it and work through it. And then we're going to go into the next step. So hopefully this is making sense and hopefully this is exciting. Let me know, honestly, in the chat, if you're seeing this and it's coming together, you can see the step-by-step process of how you can quickly do this, how you can quickly get results using this stuff. Let me know if this is making sense, if this is connecting, if you're enjoying it. So now that you have the one thing that the person can prove, so for me, it was teaching the producer model. I'm going to teach you what it is so that you can decide to use it and you can see that I have something different to teach. Now the tease. So now you've come up with that with your expert. Okay, what can we do? What can we do to tease it? What teases this model? So for me, I look at the main benefits of the producer model. And so what I use to tease it is the idea that you can get access to thousands of buyers without paying for traffic. I also have another, and this can be multiple you can work with. You can cycle through and test. There's another tease I lead with where you can build products without being a subject matter expert. That's another major benefit to it. And then another way I lead and tease this is that you can quickly, from being a beginner, build a profitable online business. These are all teases. I'm not actually saying what it is, but I'm teasing what it is. I'm teasing what the formula is, and then I can get into the webinar through there. So the tease is what I'm going to put on the webinar page. The tease is what's going to go in my main posts. The tease is what I lead with. The tease is my main marketing message. And then the last is grab attention. So let me come back because this is a little different because the way it goes, it's been going smaller and smaller and smaller. But let me come back now. So if you work through this with your expert, it doesn't have to take long, and then they can get deeper and deeper with it. But sometimes it usually takes me about an hour. I give it to them as homework so that they can get an idea. They never get deep enough that I prefer, but they get all the base. And then I come back and then I'll spend about an hour on the phone with them with it, looking at it, and we'll get deeper. We'll clear and iron it all out. But you don't need to be an expert to do really well with this. You just keep bringing them through until that you have a clear, great. Here's what we're going to do to tease people about it, to get them to sign up for the webinar. On the webinar, we're going to teach them this. It's going to solve a problem they have. It's valuable. I hate these webinars that are just high level. This is the most amazing thing to do in the world. And the only way you'll be able to do it is if you buy and I'll teach you what it is. I always like to teach something on the webinar so people can use and get results right away. So you'll have that. Then you'll have the breakdown of your offer for the webinar. And then you'll have the outline for your course. You're good to go. You go through this stack with an expert. You are ready to start promoting and putting together your product. You just fill this info into the web pages, into the registration pages. It can be really simple stuff. And again, basic. Most of these web builders that people are using, they have a general webinar outline template. This works perfect. But in a second, I'm going to show you how to actually do the webinar. So don't worry if you're panicking. We're going to end with that. So that's the general idea. I'm writing notes for Britain. Yes, Fiona. Yes, exactly. I know. So again, remember, right now, my goal, I told you my goal for today is for you to get results. So I am blasting through this stuff. I plan to be done shortly. Don't worry. I'm blasting through. I'm going to give you homework. You can watch through this video again. You can go through the downloads to get it. I'm going to give you a template in a second for the webinar itself. So again, this stuff's easy as possible for you to do. It's the same webinar template I use in all of my webinars, except this last one you watched, where I was just testing out some more complicated things. And I can't say my results were much different than normal. I'll get more into that later. And if I decide that it is a good part, if it is a good thing, I'll share that with you. But so you've got all that with your expert. So what's the grab attention part? Well, these are going to be things like examples you can give, examples you can use, case studies, testimonials, freebies. A lot of times your expert's already going to have a lot of this stuff. So grab attention with a peanut butter cup recipe. That gets people's attention. Then from there, you can have a, oh, P.S. If you love it and you're loving the keto way, I've got a training coming up that insert your tease headline. They click it, they go to the page, you have the whole tease on there where they sign up, they come in, you prove you've got something, you break down your offer, you sell. That's the outline. So the grab attention part is really just a brainstorm with your expert. What do you have that we can lead with? Because every email that they want to send out, you don't want them all to be necessarily promotional emails. So maybe one of the grab attention parts is a brief case study of their own life, a story. So they send an email to their list about their story and say, I know a lot of people want these results, so I'm going to share with you exactly how I do it, boom, in this webinar. So that's grab attention. It's just anything not directly related to the training. No, it is directly related, but not directly from, that could build interest. Any kind of post they can come up with, recipes in this case, testimonials, case studies, those kinds of things. So hopefully that makes sense. So what is the difference between what you give, quality of information, on the free webinar and the one you sell? I'm glad you asked this. Excellent question. And this might be a good time to go through the webinar itself. So a real simple basic overview is this. This is the way, actually, I had a slide of it. I think I closed it, but I'll just describe it. People have a problem. On your webinar, what I normally do when my expert has gone through and all the problems their people are facing, I go, which one of those is the quickest things for us to solve? Which one of those problems could literally be solved, or at least believed to be solved, instantly? That's usually the one that I'll focus on for the webinar. And we'll teach that. And it can't be too much. You don't want to overwhelm on a webinar. And I could tend to get to the close side of doing this because I get so excited and I want to teach. I want you to know the producer model. I want you to understand. I want you to use it. I want you to win. Like, enough of all these people suffering and struggling to make money online, but spending thousands of dollars to get there. I'm sick of it because I was there. It sucks. So I could tend to go there, but take that one thing you can teach to get people results right away. That one thing from your overall training, teach that on the webinar. And a funny thing happens. Someone has a problem, and a lot of people say, don't teach on a webinar, kills your sales. I'm not like that. So many people out there are selling these. Yeah, your webinar might sell, but who likes that? I don't watch webinars anymore because I watch within 5 minutes. I'm like, this person is going to spend 30 minutes talking about themselves, 30 minutes talking about how great this opportunity is. And if I want it, I've got to buy from them. I'm out. I hate that crap, so I don't do it to people. You can choose to do that if you like it. I like to teach and transform people's lives and have them want to come do business with me. That's how I do everything. That's every strategy I'm showing you here, and including the webinar template I'm about to give you. That's how that's built as well. It's all built for you to give, make a difference in people's lives, and get them wanting to go further with you. So what happens when you give a training, you give the webinar, you solve a problem, a funny thing happens. As soon as you solve a problem, a whole bunch of other problems open up. So let's say that keto diet, we did a webinar, and let's say our course was that, well, like we mentioned, that process where it's going to be the 10 recipes for your body type to lose weight on the keto diet. So what I would do for the webinar is I would do an entire webinar teaching people that different people do require different types of diets based on their body type, or some people do based on their blood type or based on their DNA, whatever it is, whatever my expert's comfortable with. So because that's a whole new concept, I would teach that right up front. I would teach people, my whole webinar would be diets are designed to fail. It is not your fault that you don't get lasting results, because most diets don't address this one thing that is crucial to you getting results or not. And without this thing, you're just throwing darts blindfolded at a dartboard. In that webinar, I would teach them about the body types, teach them why it's important, or teach them about their blood types or their DNA, whatever it is. Teach them about that stuff so that they now understand it, so that they know enough that anytime now they're going to look at a diet or a program or a training, they can now understand what they are looking for them and find what works for them. They don't need to buy from me to get value out of that. But I'm the one who just gave them that value. So now at the end, I'm saying, now that you know that, I've got a program that's going to help you figure out exactly. We're going to find out what works for you. We're going to put you into that. That's the training. How many people do you think are going to buy that? You don't need to be a great salesperson. You don't need, I'm horrible at sales. This is how I managed to finally figure out how to get sales. I was the worst salesperson ever. And I tried every script and everything out there because I wanted to succeed. Couldn't do it. I finally just started being of extreme value to people. And a funny thing happened. People turned around and started wanting to buy from me. If everyone out there is promising a solution and you're the one that actually gave them one, who do you think they're going to go to for more? So when you solve a problem, a bunch of other problems open up. Great. Now I know that. Well, so where do I start looking? How do I fit that into my family? What types of foods should I be looking at? How do I do this and stay keto? All these questions open up. Those are options that you can fulfill and answers you fill in your course, in your program. So hopefully that tells you the difference. That's the main difference. So let me share my screen with you one more time here. So that stack you've got, that's where you're going to start. You're going to work through to get the outline. Once you have that, your next step is to go through and build the webinar. Now, if this is, again, a niche that you're really excited about, you can take the stack and all the answers your expert gave you, and you can fill a lot of this in yourself and then get the expert just to fine tune it. Or what you can do when I do something where it's not really a market that I'm an expert in, I give this to the expert to fill out, just like the stack. This is what I do after they've done the stack. This is their next homework. I give it to them for a little while to work on, and then we'll schedule maybe the next day or 2 days from then, depending on their schedule, sometimes later that day, depending on whatever it is with them, that we're going to go over it together. And so let me show you. And I'm giving this to you to download. I will share the link right after. I don't think I have the link set up yet, but I will give this to you right away. But let me cover what it is. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right one. Yes, this webinar template, up until literally the webinar that you guys just watched, is the only time I veered away from this. It was a whole lot more complicated to put together. And like I said, I still don't know if it's worth doing differently or not, but I'm just always interested in trying new things. If I do find that it worked better, I will make a template of that webinar outline that I did as well and give it to you. But most of the time, your experts aren't marketing experts. They're subject matter experts. So that's the power of this template. I've built this template to be extremely basic, extremely simple to use. Now, I've just got it, these kind of basic colors. I've used this. This doesn't look pretty. It's kind of got a little gradient on it and general black and white. Like, here we go. I've used this. If you've watched a webinar of mine in the past, these are probably the same slide outlines you saw me use, because it doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be pretty. Now, you can always come in here, change master slide, and you can do like I did on my last webinar where I put kind of a wood background. You can change the colors. You can do all that. You don't have to. But anyway, this is what you're going to go through with your expert. And every single slide I have You just click title of your webinar, should speak directly to the problem. You're going to go back to your stack exercise you did with your expert. You're going to find the main problem that they solve. And when you went through the T's, you're going to post that in there as your title for the webinar. Then the next, why am I sharing this with you? This is where you connect, relate with your audience on the problem they're facing. Should be a quick story as to why you're so passionate to share this info. So again, why am I sharing this with you? Just get your expert to quickly tell their story relating to those problems that you came across in A to B of the stack and connecting to where they want to be. So your expert just does that. Again, spend 3-4 minutes of them putting together a little story here. What you're going to cover. The next few slides should break down the benefit that people are going to get from the benefit from the webinar. So you're going to learn why all diets fail and why it's not your fault you haven't got results to now. You're going to learn the secret to figuring out exactly what you should do. So anytime you come across another diet program from now on, you'll know exactly what to do. And I'm going to show you my secret to, whatever. You just go through the benefits one after one. I say to have between 2 to 5. You want between 2 to 5 benefits. You can list what benefit do people get from the training you're about to give them. And then example of a result-driven benefit is you can spend less time doing the things you hate, so you can spend more time with your family. That's just a general. So you would just take this and you would just write something like this for your expert, your webinar. So this entire webinar, slide by slide, here we have one at the end, the mistake that almost everyone makes that will kill your results. So here I say, you want to tease them that there's a piece of info that they can't afford to miss at the end of the webinar. This will help ensure they stick around to see your pitch. So this is the entire webinar. Slide by slide, you just go through it. So who here would like to know, insert your webinar topic here. Now you go into the training. Here's what it's done for me. So you just go through this with your expert and you fill it out. Here's the main point number 1 of the training. So when I talked about why diets fail, here I would introduce them to body types. What's the benefit of learning their body type? The main takeaway. Then point number 2, how to recognize any other program you get introduced to recognize if it's good for you or not. And then I would show them how to recognize that, the main takeaway point. Maybe I just have those 2 points. Maybe I have another one. When you're done going through your points, and if you want, you just duplicate the slide. Maybe you have 4, maybe you have 5. You just duplicate with your expert. Then you get into, great, in the moment, I'm going to make you an offer. This is the transition from the content to the pitch. Tell them what you're about to give them. But first, you're going to share with them. Remember I said at the beginning of the slides, there's that, wait till the end, I'll show you the number 1 mistake. Here's what it does. It's an easy way for your expert to transfer into a sale, even if they're not extroverted or feel comfortable selling, because a lot of people aren't. Maybe you have an interest to build your own product, but you're not confident selling. Here's the way that anyone, including an introvert, including someone like me, can make a sale. You tell them, hey, in a minute, I'm going to make you an offer. But before that, remember I promised I'd tell you that number mistake? Here's that mistake. So you're layering, hey, I'm going to give you an offer, but first I'm going to give you even more value. And now the constant that you share here, and here's where I'll come back to you. The constant that you share here should be, and again, I have it written there in the slide, but the idea is this mistake that you're training in your webinar, this is the only time that I'll guide specifically to what kind of content it should be. Because other than that, if you're giving value, it doesn't really matter. You could test it. You'll figure out what clicks. This mistake should be something that leads to your overall product. So let's say like the producer model. I could teach the producer model, and then I would say the number 1 mistake I'm going to teach you at the end. So stay tuned. That number 1 mistake would be getting caught up in overwhelm. Or maybe that's where I talk about putting the cart before the horse, whatever it is. And then that could lead into, so you want to implement this, but you've got tons of overwhelm. Well, I've got a course that will take you step by step so you get fast results, show you exactly how to do it to reduce the overwhelm. Forget all the complicated tech, forget building a membership site, podcast, all that stuff. I'm going to show you how you can get started quickly. So that's what I mean by a perfect example. If you give a webinar, you give a solution. Here's the producer model, what it is. another problem arises. I'm overwhelmed, don't know where to start. Hey, don't worry. I've got a course that's going to show you. I hope you see how powerful that is because, and I'm going to just quickly go through these end slides with you now, but this webinar template is designed. You don't have to be great at sales. You don't have to be confident. You don't have to be comfortable doing it. You could be introverted. You will make sales if you follow this template. So this slide, again, the main point of the tip I just shared. Now I get to go to the offer. So because of that problem, and so many people come across it, I put together this training. So you see, now it doesn't feel like you're selling people something. It's, I know a lot of you, now that you know about these body types, or now that you know about the producer model, you're still not going to be able to take action because of this problem. So because of that, to help you, I put together this training. Here's how it will help you. It's going to show you step by step, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to break it down. Remember the stack. You broke this all down in the stack. Now you're just telling them in the webinar exactly what it works, what they get. Break down the 5 or 4 steps or the 3 pillars or whatever it is. And then again, you just walk through this step by step, recap the benefit, bonus, try to find something you can add as a bonus. So now let's say you can teach people everything. This is all you ask your expert for this slide. If you taught people that course and you teach them all these things, what are the reasons that they don't take action? And again, you can use me as an example for this. And so I'll come back to that in a sec. And then this, look, you just break through the slides and you're done. That's it. Answer questions. So let me just take a moment to focus on this though, the bonus, because this is the last important part of this that takes a little bit of finesse. When you're working with your expert, the stack takes them through everything to build that webinar. If you go through the stack with your expert, you could probably fill in most of those things. Obviously, they need to fill in the parts about their story and that stuff, but you have most of those things to fill out that webinar already. You could do it even without your expert, but of course, you'll get them to do it. The bonus. Here's the question I want you to ask your expert. If someone goes through your training, what are all of the reasons you can think of that will prevent them from taking action? I did this exact same thing with the producer model. So when I looked at the producer model, what are reasons people might not take action? They don't know where to start, or the tech's overwhelming. Great. I'm going to teach you the launch system. So that eliminates almost all of that. You know exactly where to start. Live training. It's simple. The tools are free. You'll be able to learn in an afternoon everything you need to be able to do this on the technology side. And I'll help you through it through email and through next Q&A we do. We'll be focusing more on the tech for those of you that need it. I'll help you set all that up. Then I look at, well, maybe belief that their skills or their niche doesn't fit. That's why I'm doing all the case studies. I'm going to show you how you can build physical products with the producer model, how you can build it into a business. That's another thing. People think, well, it's not scalable. So I'm going to show you how you can layer products. What's another thing? The overwhelm of the tools. I'm giving you the templates. I don't know how to sell. I'm giving you the templates. I looked at every single reason I could think of that someone couldn't run with the producer model. And those are all the bonuses. That's why I built these templates for you. That's why I gave you that contract you can use. Because a lot of the time, you might not even use exactly what I've given you. I do suggest, though, you use the webinar outline the way I gave it. There's a very specific reason I've built it that way. There's a way to deliver content that gets people emotional and wants you to buy. I call it the content sandwich. I'm posting that right now in the Facebook. So you're going to see this as a download. This is a simple way. And I would share this, the content sandwich, with your expert to help them understand why you've built the webinar the way you built it. So you can share that content sandwich with them so they understand there's a strategy behind it. Everything I've built is designed with the strategy in mind to help you succeed as quickly as possible. Everything I've gone over today, and I know it's a lot. I know it. I know that it can feel like, oh my God, where do I start? Go back, hit play on this training, especially from the second part, which I think was after about an hour and a half in. That step-by-step. Go find an expert you might want to reach out to. Worst case, they say no. Like I said, Honestly, when you start realizing that you can go on Amazon, find any of the best sellers, you can do a search, top whatever niche blogs 2017 to find the ones who were really big last year. Boom, there's people you can look. Go to iTunes, most popular podcasts in your niche. There you go. You can find, like, there's an unlimited number of people for you to approach. And like I said, with me, those of you who have asked, all right, well, what's my closing ratio? What is this? It's almost 100% because I'm at the point now where, because I have a background of doing this, because I have things built up, I can find an expert I really want to work with and say, you know what, you're perfect for this reason. Here, talk to this person if you want a testimonial or whatever it is, because I've done it. And you can do that very quickly too. So worst case, go find some experts that you want to connect with. Download that 3 steps to connecting with an expert. Give it a try. Today, go find those experts, go find their social media, and do nothing but like, follow their stuff, comment on it, and connect with them. And that's how you can get started. Now, let me just see here. You said something about here's what you still don't know and why you should sign up for the paid webinar. Could you please repeat this? So yeah, Mark, that's that bonus training. So hopefully that makes sense. That one thing, like that one mistake that people make that prevent them from getting results when they try to do it themselves, that's what you're going to flip as that's why I created. This is the number one mistake. People get overwhelmed. They don't do it. They overwhelmed with trying to make it too complicated, and they think it's too long of a process. They need to find the perfect expert. Well, that's what this course is going to help you overcome. I'm going to show you how to find an unlimited number of experts. So that's that. So hopefully that makes sense. Membership site with these downloads, not yet. You will get access to that in this next week, especially as we get into the live Q&As. But that being said, this page here that you're on right now is staying up. You've got the link for it. The replay will be right here. So you can watch this back, and these Facebook comments below with the resources are here to stay. Everything I've posted below for you is there to stay. You don't need to do anything with it. And ready to go. So let me just put the PowerPoint. So on that note, let me put these links. I'm going to put PowerPoint and Keynote, so it doesn't matter what you use. So here's the PowerPoint. And here's the Keynote. There you go. PowerPoint, Keynote for that template that I just showed you. And so you just follow this stuff. Go find an expert tonight. And what I want you to do is, again, remember we talked earlier, try to find 5. I know a lot of you might not have been able to do that. Find 5 experts that you might want to work with. Email me. Just reply to one of the emails that I sent out to you. Email me the experts you found that you want to reach out to, and tell me a couple of things you've done to complement them, to reach out and just kind of like their stuff, share with it. Then your next step is going to be to actually send them an email complimenting them. Do it. No other plan, nothing to follow up. Just do it. See the response. Do this with 5. Do this with 10 if you want. I know people, when I've gone through this, who did it. They set out 20 people and they ended up getting like 5 or 6 replies of people saying they were interested in a phone call. And they ended up getting 2 or 3 deals from it, brand new, because they reached out to 20 people. But I get, you might not want to do that. Start with 5. See what happens. See the response. When you reach out with a compliment, nothing negative happens. Nothing negative. And that feels good. Feels good to get that win. So do that. And then just follow through. Follow the 3 steps to reaching out. If you get someone interested, just see if you can set up that simple phone call. But like I mentioned, and for those of you who are live, and I'm opening this up, I want to support you on this journey. So I do want you to do the work. I want you to Watch this over again if you need to. Set yourself up for the best chance of success. But if you reach out to an expert, they respond, and you follow up with that exact kind of third way of just saying, hey, I think I can help you do this and this. Would you be interested? They say they're interested, but want to know more. Let me know. I'll help you figure out what to say. I'll help you figure out how to approach. If they respond with something you didn't expect, let me know. That's what these Q&As are going to be for as well. I'm going to make sure to do a lot. So let's do this. Let's do our first Q&A. Today's Saturday. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do it Tuesday evening, because I know some people are like, well, it's the weekend. Maybe I don't want to work out, do this on the weekend. I don't want to reach out, whatever it is. Here's your homework between now and Tuesday. I want you to do what you can do to get some experts interested. That's it. We're going to do a live Q&A. I'm going to send you the link ahead of time Tuesday. So even if you can't make the live Q&A, you can ask all your questions, tell me your situation. I'll answer them all on the live video so you can watch it. But I'm going to answer all that stuff, give you all the info you need, and help you follow up with that expert and land your first deal. And then once you've landed your first deal, you now have the stack. You know the process you can work through with them. You can start filling in your webinar template. And then it's just a matter of actually setting it up. I know some of you already build some website landing pages. I'll help you do that. If you want the one I use, if you don't have anything right now, you want to use ClickFunnels, I'll give that to you. I believe I also have some webinar templates for Optimized Press still. Let me know. But I'll help you design it. I'll help you figure out exactly what to put where. I am committed to you getting results. You are going to be my case studies. You are going to be my testimonials, because starting Wednesday, I have time booked to start really recording all of the videos and all the content for the course. So you're going to be getting those. You're going to be getting bonus trainings. All the other bonuses that I mentioned, you're going to get as we release. But I would rather do this almost more through the live Q&As. What we're going to do is every live Q&A, I'll teach another thing, and then we'll cover all the questions from the last thing. So this will almost be more like a group coaching program, because I want to hold you by the hand and have you succeed. So I'm committed to you, and I'm committed to giving you my time. So that's your homework. Start, find some experts, reach out following the 3 steps to connect, and then follow up with me and let me know how that's going. You've got all the links to the downloads below. They will be organized nicer for you shortly. Don't worry about that. But this page is up and live. I'm not taking it down. So as soon as I hit stop broadcast today, you can watch this back like a video. I'll make sure there are full controls, so you can pause, fast forward, rewind, do whatever you want, watch it over and over. I just ask that you don't share it. I think that's a fair ask. And all the tools and templates are below. And that's it for today. I think that's enough. Oh, over 3 hours. I'm so sorry. In my mind, I was like, I'm going to keep this even quicker. But I just wanted to make sure you had every tool, because if you don't understand the whole picture of where you're going, you're never going to reach out to someone. Now you know exactly how you're going to deliver the training, how you're going to set it up, how you're going to build the webinar, how you're going to get the information out of your expert through the stack, how you're going to reach out through the 3 ways to connect, how you're going to find them through Amazon, iTunes, or even just a blog search, how to find the right ones, what to look for. You want to find people that obviously have a following because they've sold lots of books or they have a popular blog, but they don't really have any online products. They're the people that are going to love what you have to offer. And again, it's a lose-lose situation you're approaching with this. There's no risk. You're not asking for money. You're not asking for tons of time. You're not asking for much from them. You're approaching them saying, I'm going to help you get out of spending your time for money. I'm going to help you help thousands of more people. I'm going to help you give more to the people who are already waiting to buy more from you. That's what you get to offer, and you get to sell at the producer model. You can't tell why I'm so excited about this. This is why. Like, can you believe this is how you get to build a business? This is how you get to build your credibility. This is how you get to build your email list to then build your own products. And when you build your own product, you're going to sit down in a room and you're going to go through the stack yourself. Then you're going to fill in that webinar template, and you're going to do live trainings and you're going to do the launch system. You're going to do it yourself. Never, ever, ever do anything other than the way I just showed you now, unless it's a different type of project. Like I just launched this project here to build a list. That's its only goal. This whole business, this one here, it's called Sobriety Starts Here. Its whole purpose is to build a list in a niche that I can then partner with other people and sell products to. So I didn't do webinars and live for this one, but I did live interviews. I just did it live. I built a simple page, basically the same thing that I showed you here, except I did interviews instead of training. This system, it's my passion. My mission is to get as many people as possible doing the launch system and doing the producer model, because no more are you going to waste thousands of dollars and months building a product that turns into nothing, shooting videos that go nowhere, building a membership site that no one signs up for, launching a podcast that no one listens to, writing a blog that no one reads. Enough of that. This is the solution. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching the recording of this, thank you so much. Like I said, reach out, connect with me on Facebook, give me your feedback. Look for an email from me tomorrow that will have a link to the Q&A I'm going to do Tuesday evening, and it will have the place for you to put your questions. So even if you can't make it live with me Tuesday evening, and I know a couple of you are actually in Europe, so that's not fair for you because you can't make it, but I will have some during the day coming up soon as well. But for this first one, you can send me an email and you can write your questions underneath, and I'll make sure to answer it. You get the recording. And honestly, I'm here for you. If we need to keep doing Q&As, obviously I'll probably do 3 scheduled fairly often, but you need Q&As, we do Q&As. As I'm doing the videos and launching for the course, you're going to get access to those. So you will have these things more segmented. Today was the fast start system, but when it's a course, it's going to be more individual each part. It won't be laid out this same way. But now that you have the advantage of the fast start, all those videos will be there if you want, oh, how do I do that again? How do I set up MailChimp? How do I do a YouTube live? All those videos are going to be there for you. You get access to all of them, all the bonus material, all the content, everything. It's coming your way. Yes, thank you. Mo Exposure. Mo Exposure, can you just write your name for me so I know who that is that I'm talking to? But yes, great point. Reach out, do this homework. Between now and Tuesday evening, you've got to reach out to some experts so that you know what questions to ask me. You can say, I got this response. What would you say? I will tell you exactly what I would say. I will help you craft the response. I will help you figure out what to say on the phone. I'm here to help you. We're doing it. Brian, awesome. Way to be here, Brian. And I believe you are a military vet, so good on you. Thank you for everything you do. That's amazing. I'm very excited to have you here with me as well. So Brian, now that you said that, you better reach out to people before Tuesday. You could reach out to 10 people, mess it all up, do everything wrong, have them never respond to you. Doesn't matter. You did it. You reach out. That shouldn't happen because you're just complimenting, but that's worst case scenario. It will take you half an hour to go find another 10 experts to reach out to. That's the beauty of this model. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fiona, Mark, Catherine, and Brian. And did I catch the people who are here live? Mark, Brian, Fiona, yes. And Barb, thank you, Barb, for being here live. And thank you to everyone watching this recording. I'm here to serve you. I hope this served you. And I'm genuinely excited to see what you guys come up with, to see what niches you decide to go into, what experts you decide to partner with. Thank you again. This has been awesome. I will see you Tuesday.